Another one tonight. Before that, James Moorcroft in with a bit of an unknown quantity in Simon Henry, and that's a tough fight for Moorcroft, who, again, is someone that'll be looking for titles very, very soon. And Jack Rafferty, now training at the finest gym under Steve Maylett. He's in with Richard Samuels, again over 6 rounds, and Jack Rafferty, someone who has been impressing a lot of people recently. First up, John Evans is ringside with promoter Steve Wood and pristine boxing journalist Terry Dooley.
Well, welcome to ringside here at the University of Bolton Stadium. We're initially due to have a really good bill headlined by an English title fight. Still got a good night of fights. Certainly the top of the bill promises to be a cracker. Show promoter Steve Wood's here with us. Steve, it's just been a typical week of small hole boxing, hasn't it?
Yeah, but it's probably been worse than most, because you normally kind of pull something out of the bag at the end, and that's what we've been trying to do for the last couple of days, but unfortunately it's not happened. So, you know, Jack Cullen, who was going to headline, is no longer doing it, but we have got 5 good fights tonight. We was open, obviously when we started it was 10, then it was down at 7. We lost 2 in the last 24 hours, but there's still good 5 fights for the viewers tonight. I'm really looking forward to the fight, to be honest with you.
The fight, Jack Cullen for the English title against Reed Cartwright, we're still hoping that gets delayed for later in the year, and there's still a possibility that gets made, but Cullen will be in title action sooner rather than later, won't he?
Yeah, I mean, board meetings on Wednesday, and we put in that May the 11th for that to be scheduled for now. If Reed Cartwright's not going to be ready for that, we're going to have to look at something else for him, because Cullen's ready to move on now, and can't let these Cartwrights delay him any further.
Terry, you've been around the Northwest scene for a long time. These things happen, don't they? Small holes, you can have the best laid plans. Sometimes it doesn't go well, but quite often, when the shows fall apart, you get something spectacular, don't you?
Yeah, like we were talking about this before with Steve. Sometimes you come to a show like this one tonight, the bill is fluid, it changes on the day of the show. You look on BoxRec and the opponents are 3 rounds, but sometimes, like you say, you can't legislate for what's going to happen at a boxing show. Sometimes you can get to a show that's been reduced in terms of the fights, and one of the fights just ends up being a barnstormer. We were talking before about some of the shows we've seen before. Crispy Bacon against, was it Moran, one of the smaller fights we saw years ago, that just took off, so you just can't legislate. And we've got some good fights tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing Muhammad Ali. I thought he was good in his first fight. His performance dipped slightly in his second one, so I'm looking forward to see what he's going to do tonight. And Flatley, I've been impressed with him every time I've seen him, and I think he develops fight by fight. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it tonight.
Well, as Terry just said, sometimes a fight does come out of blue and steal the show. Top of the bill tonight, Jack Flatley and Serjan Bowmo. Promises to be an absolute belter, doesn't it? And Bowmo never shy of letting his hands go, and Flatley generally meets fire with fire.
Yeah, you mean, to be honest, I'd like a bit more time to promote that, to let people know what a great fight we've got on. But again, we had problems with Jack's opponent, and he was only brought in 48 hours ago. He was actually going to be fighting Tommy Langford, but he's decided to come here now. And Jack's got to be very careful with him tonight. I mean, hopefully we've got big news for Jack coming from the board meeting on Wednesday, but he's got to get through tonight, because he can punch as well as throwing the bombs. There's a bit of power behind him, so that's probably going to be a fight tonight, that one.
Another potential star to look out for tonight, Jack Rafferty, very highly rated around the local scene, unbeaten so far. He's changed camps now. He's gone to Terry Flanagan, former world lightweight champion stable, trained by Steve Maylett now. Total change of everything for Jack. It's not just a change of man in the corner, change the entire life. Big change for a young fighter, isn't it?
It's a big change, but it shows that he's got ambition and courage to make that change. Sometimes young fighters can get complacent, they get used to a certain kind of environment, and don't make a change until it's too late. So I'd rather see a fighter make a big decision like this early in the career rather than leaving it for too long. And Maylett is a fantastic trainer. He's an intense guy as well, who gets good results out of his fighters. And people see Steve in the corner, but they don't often see him what he's like in the gym. He's a very technical trainer. He's a perfectionist as well. So yeah, I'm expecting it to be a really good mix of chemistry.
We also get the latest appearance from James Moorcroft. Made meteoric strides, didn't he, in his first 18 months as a pro. He gets another fight tonight, and James will be looking to step up later in the year. But James seems to improve every single outing.
Yeah, you mean, you've got to give it to him. No amateur experience, and he's going around sparring a lot of the top kids, and I'm getting good reviews back off him. So James, he's pushing faster than we thought he would have been. He gets a good support, the same as Jack Rafferty does, and yeah, good win tonight. And I'll be looking at probably matching one of my own kids at the next show and find out who can do what. Yeah.
And Bradley Ray makes his latest appearance. Terry, nice. Probably your type of fighter. Tall, uses his jabs well, well-schooled. Looks a very impressive fighter so far, Bradley Ray.
Yeah, as you say, I love tall fighters with decent jabs. I just like tall, rangy fighters. I always have done. Obviously, they can have vulnerabilities because of the gangliness, but I do like the look of him. I like everything I've seen from him so far. And as you say, he knows what he's doing. He can box, he can jab, and he's also shown a bit of toughness as well, and I think mental toughness, so I'm looking forward to seeing him again tonight.
Rounding out, starting off the show is Muhammad Ali, the famous diabetic boxer. You know, the euphoria making his debut is gone now, hasn't it, Steve? He's just got to settle into a grind of being a professional and try and make some headway.
That's right, yeah. I mean, he come with a lot of pressure on him being the first diabetic fighter in the UK, and there was cameras following him all over the place. Sky come down, Granada come down, but he's just turned up with his kit bag tonight, and there's no hype to him. It's all done and dusted, so the reality will be sinking in, and he's got to prove he can fight as well now. He's not a gimmick, he's got to prove he can fight, and I think tonight we've got the right opponent for him to look good.
Well, there you go. 5 fights. We're expecting some exciting action, toe-to-toe action, certainly from the top of the bill. So back to Luke Madeira for the commentary.
Thanks, John. And yeah, Muhammad Ali's first up. He's in with MJ Hall, and it could be a tough night's work this for Muhammad Ali. It's worth noting, last time out he fought a fellow undefeated fighter in Ben Fields who was 3-0 at the time, and we saw him get a draw last week on the VIP show, and he's been around the scene, Ben Fields, in the away corner. He's got some good results, so no, it was a good result that for Muhammad Ali, and he'll be looking to continue that momentum tonight against a tough and durable MJ Hall. And it's an MJ Hall that, if you're not on top of your game, he can beat you, and he's a very capable fighter in his own right. And then after that, Bradley Ray's in with Victor Dagger. Victor proves to be a difficult tester for a lot of people. He gets in with that one over 4 rounds. Brad's been impressing. Last time out on the Jolly Boys, it's 3-0 now. And then to the fights we talked about earlier, and Jack Rafferty's continued to impress so far in his career, changing camp, which is always difficult, and it might take him a bit of time to settle into that camp. So we'll see how he reacts to that over 6 rounds at welterweight. And then, of course, James Moorcroft and Simon Henry. We were talking about it then. James is ready to mix it with these other VIP fighters that are buzzing around his weight, and we'll see him in with some fellow undefeated boxers very soon if he can get the job done tonight. But it's not a foregone conclusion. Simon Henry, 3 wins, 3 losses and a draw. Very capable fighter in his own right, and he's going to have to be good to get the win tonight, James. And then, of course, the main event of the evening, John spoke about it then, Jack Flatley and Serjan Bowmo. It promises to be a cracker, that one. You know, and Bowmo's got some good wins on his record, and Jack's going to have to be at his best to win that fight. I was speaking to him earlier, and he's nice and relaxed, as he always is. And you know, he was on the big stage against Troy Williamson, got a draw, and he got up off the canvas a couple of times in that first round. Showed tremendous heart to get that draw, and it's a bit of a shame that he had to go back to the drawing board after that, but he's ready to get back on that big stage. And worth noting, Jack Cullen, he's supposed to be fighting for that English title tonight, and that's not come to fruition, unfortunately, but it looks around May time that we'll finally get the fight on, where Jack gets to fight for the English title, a title he so richly deserves to fight for. I'm very sure that we'll be getting underway with the action with Muhammad Ali and MJ Hall. There's plenty of boxing to come from the VIP channel over the next couple of weeks as well, of course. We're in Oldham next week, and Mark Heffron returns. Mark Leach tops the bill there as well. Plenty of talent on that. And Kane Gardner's moved on to that show instead of tonight as well. Kane's a promising fighter, and we can see him in action next week. And then the week after that, Rhys Mould fights for the English title in Doncaster at the racecourse there. You know, Rhys is making that a little bit of a fortress for himself over in Doncaster, gets huge support. So make sure you tune in both those events. The tickets are available from VIPboxing.tv, as they always are with all the VIP shows. And it's definitely worth getting down to those shows if you can do, because you will see some of the Northwest top talent on display. And that starts tonight as well. We were in Liverpool last week with a great show, and it carries on tonight. All of the fighters in action tonight are people you should look forward to seeing in the future. MC Michael Pass is in the ring, and very shortly we'll be getting the action underway with Muhammad Ali.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Premier Suite here at the confines of the University of Bolton Stadium. Let's get the action immediately underway. Brought to us by BYD Productions. Here comes our first horse this evening, MJ Hall.
Here's the first ring walk of the evening then, MJ Hall. Tough and durable opponent. 30 defeats. He's been stopped in 3 of them. So, you know, he's more than likely to go the distance, and Muhammad Ali will have his work cut out if he is to get stoppage tonight. the 3 people to stop him. Ryan Oliver stopped him very early in the first round with a body shot. Good performance that was. Conor Vane in the last round of their contest. So, you know, he's being stopped by top quality kids, and Muhammad Ali's going to have to be at his best to get a win tonight. MJ Hall will be looking to get that first win under his belt, of course.
And emerging in the young man from 20 miles down the road from Rochdale,
And here comes Muhammad Ali, and it's an interesting backstory he's got, of course. The first professional boxer in the UK that has diabetes, so like Steve said before when he was talking to John, there's a lot of press around him when he turned professional, but he's just another professional now, and he's got to make his name for himself, and he'll be looking to put on a show tonight. He always brings a big crowd, a lot of people come and support him. You see him making his way to the ring now. He's very strong for the weight, you know, good big powerful legs, and it wouldn't surprise me if you see him start getting stoppages as he steps up in levels, but he's certainly got to get the job done over 4 rounds tonight. It's not going to be easy for him though against MJ Hall. Make it awkward as he can for Muhammad Ali, and he'll have a few problems to work out early on.
live on VIPboxing.tv, sponsored by Pain Solutions. Also on KOTV, the Stallings in Germany, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Boxing against Bojan, and only Full Fights. We welcome you. The officials have been appointed by the Central Area Council of the British Boxing Board of Control, who stood in charge, sitting proudly at ringside, Mr. Mohammed Asif. This first contest is for regular rounds of boxing in the middleweight division. Introducing to you firstly boxing out of the blue corner, the black short with silver, presenting MJ Hall. And opposing in boxing out of the red corner, the black short with red, gold, and silver. At the weighing scale of 11 stone 2 pounds. From pre-contest, he has 3 wins, the Pride of Rochdale,
Here we have it on the first contest of the evening. Joining me on commentary for this one, Terry Dooley. And, you know, we criticised Muhammad Ali a little bit in his last performance, but in hindsight, it was a good performance against Ben Fields, who's been causing upsets.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what Ali does tonight. Obviously, I was quite critical of him last time. I think I expected a bit more of him after his debut performance, so it'll be interesting to see how he approaches this one tonight.
Nice sharp start from Ali there. And he's got to have a lot of credit. He stepped in with a fellow unbeaten fighter in just his 3rd fight, and not many fighters do that. So it's a little bit of a statement, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good to see, and as you say, it was a little bit of a statement from him. He got the win against Fields. He moved on to 3-0, and as you say, it'll be interesting to see how he approaches this fight tonight. He's got enough 4 rounds to work with. I'd like to see a bit more fenning from him in this particular fight. I think that was what was missing last time out.
Yeah, and MJ Hall is always a difficult opponent, isn't he? He troubles a lot of the fighters he's in with. It's so awkward and difficult to hit.
Yeah, and we can see that already. He's going to be quite difficult to, as you say, pin down with a clean shot. And if you can't get a clean shot in, then it's always going to be difficult to stop the opponent. So it'll be interesting to see how much guile Ali shows in this fight tonight.
Yeah, and already Ali's gone with the straight shots to the body, and a couple of the stoppages that MJ Hall's had against him have been through straight shots to the body, so he's clearly been watching the tapes and he's worked his opponent out.
Yeah, and as you say, he just dipped down to the body then again. And whatever happens with Ali, however he performs, I think his fans will be vocal about his performance because he brings good support. We saw them milling around there earlier tonight. And the thing that I like about him, he brings families to his fights as well.
Yeah, he's had massive support, hasn't he, so far in his career? And we've seen a lot of people coming out. And Steve mentioned it earlier. He had a lot of press when he made his debut, being the first professional boxer in the UK with diabetes. But it's like you said when we were speaking, he's just another prospect now, isn't he? And he's got to put that aside and make a name for himself with his boxing. Lovely combination again.
Yeah, as you said, he had the Sky. Sky did a spot on him. He's been mentioned by ITV, but as Steve said quite rightly, now he's into his 4th fight. He's a jobbing professional boxer, so we want to see what he's going to turn into. At this point, we'll start to see maybe signs for the fight that he will eventually become as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and he already looks to have settled down a lot more than he did in that last fight, doesn't he? He's sitting down in his shots and picking his shots. He seemed to rush his work a little bit last time out. Lovely right hand over the top again. Yeah,
and he seems to have learned from that as we go into the last 30 seconds of this round. It's probably been one of the most balanced rounds of his career so far. As you say, he's just worked his opportunities well. He's not done anything too rash.
Yeah, and of course, MJ Hall, southpaw as well. Different problems to solve than he would against an orthodox fighter.
Yeah, and that's why we've seen a couple of tangles already. It's just one of those things. Orthodox and southpaws do tend to tangle, especially at this level as well, so that's just something for people to look out for.
Yeah, and it's good that he's ticking this box so early in his career as well, because we've seen plenty of fighters go through to 10, 12 and 0 without fighting anyone that's southpaw, so he's certainly ticking boxes. Very good first round that for Muhammad Ali, and he'll be happy with that in the corner. Remember, you can contact us live on the Facebook stream or hashtag VIP Boxing Live on Twitter. We'll read all your comments out as the night goes on. There's plenty of talent on show tonight. Who are you looking forward to seeing? Of course, the headliner Jack Flatley and Serjan Bowmo. Let us know what you think to that fight. That could turn out to be an absolute war. Bradley Ray still to come. Jack Rafferty, James Moorcroft, the host of talent. Muhammad Ali's in there. He's settled down in that first round. It's a good first round in the bank.
Yeah, and both are choosing to stand up in the corner, which is interesting. Usually either one or another fighter does it on a very rarely.
Round 2.
And if you're in that Ali corner there, what would you be saying? Just more of the same?
Yeah, you said more of the same. Don't do anything too rash. Build on what he's done in the first round. As you say, he's targeting the body again earlier in the second round with a right hand and left hook to the body, so that's clearly his intention.
Yeah, and he's picked those body shots nicely early on. We mentioned it in the first round, but he looks like he's picking his shots a lot more than he did the previous times we've seen him. Nice short left hook as well. And you can already see MJ Hall's just tucking up to the body a bit more. I think he felt a couple of those body shots.
Yeah, they're quite meaty shots, as you say, and you do feel the effects of them, and they take it's a cliche, but it does take you a lot longer to shake off the effects of those types of shots.
Been impressive this so far from Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, and obviously people look at Hall's record and think it might not be impressive. He's lost 30 times, drew twice, has not had any victories, but he's not really an easy man to stop. So Ali would have to really put in a performance to get the stoppage in this fight.
Yeah, and I mentioned it earlier, it seems like body shots are where MJ Hall usually gets stopped by in those 3 stoppages, so he's clearly done his homework as well. Lovely left up to the body again. He's really picked these body shots nicely. It's something we're not seeing so far from him in his career.
Yeah, it's good. It shows that maybe something he's been working on in the gym. And as you say, it might show not prior knowledge of the opponents as well, which is a good sign if that's the case. And he just looks much more settled in this particular fight, Ali, than the last time we saw him.
Yeah, he seems to have taken on board all the lessons he could have learned from being in the ring last time.
And that's a good thing. It bodes well for him, like you say. Sometimes in the past fights went 10, 15 fights without having to actually learn any lessons. And in some cases we had British fighters going to 20, 25 and all, and then coming unstuck when they got their first real test. I think that culture's changing somewhat now. A few more fights down the line with Ali's support, it may get some more stiffer tests.
Yeah, and we've seen that VIP fighters are being matched with each other as well, these prospects coming through, and I'm sure Muhammad Ali, he's not far away from being mixed with these guys as well. And so far tonight, he's shown why. He's put in a really good performance so far in his opening 2 rounds.
And to be fair, the people who come and watch Ali fight, if he loses or draws a fight, they're still going to turn out to watch him. It seems that the support seems to be based on mutual friendships and mutual respects as well. So he can have a gamble at some point, Ali, and if he takes a gamble, puts in a good result, then it means he might attract a wider fan base as well. He was just warned there for pulling his opponent down, but that, as we said, with the feet tangling in it's been a bit messy in a few patches. That's always going to be the case. Again, another right hand to the body just as the bell went. It was slightly low, but the protector is quite high as well, so the two things cancel each other out.
Yeah, and one thing for certain, it's definitely another round in the bag that for Muhammad Ali. He looks nice and relaxed in that corner as well.
Yeah, he's got no reason to be anything else other than relaxed. He's not had anything to think about in this fight. He's been able to go out there and work on the stuff he's been working on in the gym. As you say, there's more body punches going in there now, so that might be something to look out for in future fights when he uses this one as a way of testing that particular approach and finding his range.
Yeah, and he's picked the body shots nicely, as we said, and it's the case, isn't it, sometimes that, you know, these prospects won't start getting stoppages till they go 8-10 rounds. You know, when the body shots are really going to start to have an effect later on. Sometimes the 4 and 6 rounds aren't long enough.
Yeah, we've said it before. You don't expect stoppages in fights like this. If they come, it's a nice added bonus for the fighter. But people have to bear in mind the prospect is trying to get some rounds, and the opponent's trying to make sure they can fight the following week and they don't get stopped and get a temporary ban from the board. So sometimes the two things can negate one another.
Yeah, statement of intent. The start of this third round from Ali, charged out from his corner there through a barrage of shots.
Yeah, he came out fast and topped it off with nothing left up to the body as well, which you spotted earlier, Luke. So he's certainly looking to make some kind of a statement or a point in this round.
And missing with that left up to the head wildly. Doesn't want to load up with his shots now he's had that success. He still needs to get working behind that jab like he did in the first two.
He holds his left hand low as well, Ali. That's something people might work on with their own right hands as his career progresses. And as we mentioned before, the fact that these fights are recorded and put on the internet is good for the fighters themselves, but also potential opponents can watch them pretty much from the start of their career and start working on how to beat them.
Just a little nick above the right eye of MJ Hall here, just on the corner of his eyebrow. Nothing caused him too much trouble, but you know, it's showing that Ali is landing to the head as well. Nice left up to the body from Ali. He took a couple of shots of his own in this exchange, though.
Yeah, he stayed in the pocket for this one. He landed a brace of hooks to the body as well, and as you say, he then took a couple of shots.
Yeah, it's a pretty ambitious MJ Hall we've seen tonight, isn't it? He's thrown a lot more punches than we usually see him doing.
Yeah, in this round, he's, like you say, landed a couple. He's had some successes, but mostly because Ali has been more expansive and open himself this round.
There's that right hand to the body again. MJ Hall did well to catch that on its way in, just take the force out of it.
And a smear of blood by his nose as well. So, as you say, Ali's clearly landed some headshots as well as a body work, although the referee tells him to make sure the body shots don't stray below the belt.
Lovely work again from Ali. It seemed to wobble MJ Hall a little bit there. I don't know if he felt that. A nice right hand over the top again from Ali. Seems to have hurt him a little bit here. He's just gone back into his shell a little bit, MJ Hall here.
Yeah, we should say he looks like Hall could fall. He's not enjoying it. He's stumbling around a little bit as well. And these are meaty shots he's taking. The blood's flowing from the nose quite freely now.
Yeah, you can see Ali certainly sensed something in there. He's loading up with his shots now. Not missing with that uppercut. MJ Hall did well to get out of the way of that. A little bit of head movement to get out of the way of it.
Yeah, and it's probably been one of the best rounds of Ali's career in terms of looking like he could force a stoppage, because Hall has looked pretty ragged towards the end of this round.
Yeah, and he's kept the pressure on throughout the 3 minutes. We said at the start of the round he came out like a bull to a red rag at the start of the round, and he kept that up. Nice little tempo he set there.
Yeah, I mean, if he was going to get the stoppage, it probably would have come in that last round.
Yeah.
I think Hall will now see the light at the end of the tunnel and will try and fidget his way through this round. So we'll find out a lot more about Ali in this round, about whether they can get someone hurt and keep them hurt and maybe try and get an early finish.
Yeah, and we've seen MJ Hall, fiddle his way through the rounds, like you said. And these journeymen, people don't appreciate it. They know all the tricks of the trade to get through the 3 minutes, and he's 3 minutes away from another payday here.
Yeah, John Evans and I were talking on the way here that there might be a generation of boxing fans who don't understand what these opponents bring to the table. As we say, they're very hard to it 9 times out of 10 because they have to fight on the road. They have to make sure that they don't get beaten up and get bans from the board for losing fights by stoppage. So it is very difficult to stop someone like this, and you really have to put it on them in order to force that stoppage.
And if you're any doubt about these guys' abilities, well, look at someone like Brett Fido or Craig Derbyshire or Darryl Sharp. They've won titles or got in title contention, even though they have a lot of losses on the record. They have got a lot of ability as well, some of these opponents, and MJ Hall's certainly one of them. Yeah,
it often tends to be guys who can fight but might not have big promotional backing, so they lose a fight, have to take enough one a few weeks later, then lose that fight, start having more losses than wins, and it becomes a case of them realising that they have to take it on the road and fight on the road as the opponent in order to just still be part of the sport. And if that's their sole form of income, then they need to be able to do that. They need to be able to earn money, and there's good money to be earned as the opponent.
Yeah, tough money.
Yeah, it's hard money. It's not something I'd like to be doing on a Saturday night. But this time the tempo has been a bit lower for Ali in this particular round. We've seen that, I think, in his first 3 fights as well. Towards the end of the fight, his tempo maybe dips a little bit. Might be something to do with his condition, or it might just be that he put so much into the first couple of rounds. It's just a natural thing.
Yeah, and I think fighters start to settle when they get to the last round. They settle into the fact that it's going to go the distance. They just look after themselves, make sure they don't get any cuts, and it's important that he keeps active now as well, Ali, this year.
Yeah. And between rounds, all will have just thought to himself, 3 minutes, I've got to get through 3 minutes, and I can do that. I've done it many, many times before.
It's been impressive, this from Ali so far. Certainly the best performance of his career to date, this. There's no doubt about that.
And as we say, also in his 32 bouts, he's done 139 rounds, only been stopped 3 times, so that's 3 bad rounds, really bad rounds that he's had. So he'll have come out for this round fairly confident that he could see the final 3 minutes. Bit of a stumble there, nothing. He just kind of bumped himself into Ali and went over, but it shows that Ali is quite a solid unit as well.
Yeah, and he's showing the power that he hasn't shown before tonight as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's not razor sharp power, it's kind of clubbing power that he has, but that can take a toll on fighting, as you say. Over 8 and 10 rounds, when you're getting clubbed around like that, that's when you'll start to see fighters maybe fall apart against Ali.
Yeah, and as he goes through his career and he starts to land more shots and throws that right hand a little bit more technically, he's going to start hurting people. There's no doubt about that. 30 seconds to go this final round.
Yeah, a nice right hand and left hook there by Ali. He's not thrown as many body punches this round, so maybe that's why it's not been as impressive as the previous 3. But as I say, that he lands a double left hook to the body.
I'm really impressed with this performance. It's important he keeps active now, isn't it? We mentioned it before, but it's vital for these prospects to get as many fights in a short space of time as possible.
Yeah, especially someone who fights the way Ali fights. I think the more fights he gets, the better we'll see them in.
Yeah. Certainly job done there for Muhammad Ali, and I think we'll be seeing a 40-36. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. I was at a show last week where a couple of the cards I was out of sync with the referee, but I think on this particular occasion, 40-36, it'll be as clear as day.
Yeah, I know, and it's all well and good stopping people early on in your career, but it'll do him good to get another good 4 rounds in the bank. First fight after the Christmas break. A good little workout for him.
Yeah, and you should say it's imperative this year he stays active. I think that's what Steve is hoping to see from him. And Ali ticks a lot of boxes by selling a lot of tickets as well, so it's waits for the promoter and the fighter for him to fight quite often.
Yeah, absolutely, and the fighters are happy to fight as regularly as they can as well, and if you speak to Ali, he'll certainly tell you that. The referee brings both men in together. We'll hand over to the MC Michael Pass to announce the official result.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds of absorbing action, Star Flatley scored this contest 40 points to 36 points for Newcombe. Now the biggest in all professional
there we have it then. Good performance from Muhammad Ali, as we said, and like we thought it would be. 40-36, a shutout victory on the referee scorecard. It was a very good performance, wasn't it, Terry?
Yeah, and there's nothing surprising about the margin of victory. He dominated the fight. I'd like to have seen him go for it a little bit more in the last round, but he put a lot of effort into the third round, and the third round did look the round, if anything, where he was going to force a stoppage, but it just wasn't to be.
Yeah, and very shortly he'll be speaking to John Evans ringside.
Former middleweight champion of Great Britain is with us tonight, Nick Blackwell. Let's hear from Nick, ladies and gentlemen. And great smiles as always. It was to the current champion of the world, Chris Young Jr. Currently tonight, Nick is raising money for two charities which are close to his heart, the hospital which treated him in recent years, and also for cancer. Be as generous as you can. Nick is wearing the ring or regular jumper, collecting money. Nick Blackwell, middleweight champion of Great Britain. Thanks, Nick.
Little shout for Nick Blackwell there, and a few words about Nick. It's great to see him, back at the boxing and enjoying it.
Yeah, I saw him walking around before. He looked quite happy, and as you say, he's serving a business capacity tonight, so he's trying to get some charity money together as well, so that's a nice sentiment for them, Nick.
Next up then, Bradley Ray's in with Victor Dagger, and we mentioned Brad before when you were speaking to John and Steve. He's been impressive so far in his career, Brad, hasn't he? And like John said, he's long, he's got a nice jab, and he's continued to impress.
Yeah, and I like his style of fighting. I'm looking to see him develop over the course of the coming year. Like many things, we all have preferences for certain fighting styles, and I think Ray has got a really good style, and one that can become a fan-friendly style as well as his career moves on.
Yeah, just behind us, Victor Dagger's making his way to ring. VIP ringside tonight, of course, sponsored by Oxyfire. Do a fantastic job of the production of all the shows. Yeah, like I was saying, Victor Dagger just walked behind us. He's one of the more relaxed characters in the game, isn't he?
Yeah, I saw him sauntering around before. I thought he was just there for a night out, and then I realised he was fighting when I looked at the bill. So, yeah, he's just relaxed as he comes, Victor.
Yeah, speaking to Brad earlier, though, he's looking to take Victor out early on here. He's not had a stoppage so far yet, and it's been a bit of a thing for him. He wants to get that first stoppage, and of all the people to try and get it against, Victor Dagger's probably quite low on your list, but Brad will certainly be looking to make a statement in there.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. Victor's won 50-2, but he's only been stopped 3 times in those 50 losses. He's done a lot of rounds, 225 rounds in his career as well, so we should say it's going to be tough to get the stoppage tonight.
And here comes a Dagger, and one thing to notice about him, he's got such an awkward style, hasn't he? He's so difficult to hit.
Yeah, we've seen him a couple of times, and as you say, he's really hard to hit, and then it's hard to get the follow-up shot on him as well. So Bradley's going to have to be really disciplined tonight in his own performance.
Yeah, that's going to be the key, isn't it? He's just got to get behind that jab of his to make the openings, because Dagger's going to make it very difficult for him to be hit.
Yeah, he's not going to give him a free lottery ticket type punch. He's not that type of an opponent, so it's going to be a tricky one.
And I said he was relaxed. You don't get more relaxed than that, leaning on the ropes.
Yeah, he looks like he's just waiting in line at the chipper. Maybe 5 people were in front of him and they wanted some fried fish or something. He might be a bit more disconcerted, but yeah, he looks really happy and relaxed there. Not quite Billy Smith, who used to have a cigarette outside this venue back in the day before coming in as an opponent, but yeah, he's very relaxed. Looks like he might smoke something else, in fact.
And here comes the Stingray. Trains at Hatton's Gym, of course, with Blaine Eunice in his corner tonight. Not a bad ring walk song either.
Yeah, I don't like Oasis, but a lot of fighters do come out to Oasis, so more power to the elbow. Maybe he can try the Stone Roses next time and really impress us.
Yeah, he had a glittering amateur background, of course, Bradley Ray, and he's transitioned well into the pro game. Only 21 years of age. Brings a lot of fans when he fights. He's been at the warehouse the last 3 and the first 3 professional fights he's had. A bit of a change of scenery here in Bolton, and that's sometimes good for fighters as well.
Yeah, it freshens things up a little bit. You forget that people can become stale in the same venue, so it gives them a new opportunity, different type of ring walk, different type of atmosphere, and it'll be interesting. So I really do like his style, and I'm looking forward to seeing him develop this year.
See Paint Solutions on his t-shirt as well, sponsoring the show.
Sponsored by Paint Solutions and FoxySwag.com. This is contest number 2. Don't forget you can send your tweets via the hashtag on Twitter and your messages on Facebook. This is for 300 rounds of boxing in the super middleweight division. Introducing to you first the boxing out of the blue corner, wearing the black shorts trimmed with silver, and the weighing scale 11 stone 12 pounds. Tonight is his 54th professional appearance, presenting from Southern and his homeland of Italy, Dagger. And once again, boxing out of the red corner, of the blue shorts trimmed with white and gold, and the weighing scale 11 stone 9 pounds 4 ounces. Raw 3 contests, he has 3 wins, presenting from Stratford the undefeated Rafferty. And the star in charge of the action for the very finest in the world, Steve Gray from Flatley, 4th British Masters.
Here we have it then. Muhammad Ali showed the way of moving to 4-0, and Bradley Ray will be looking to do the same in there tonight, but he's not going to have it all his own way.
No, and his pro debut was against Jordan Granham, who's a guy who can fiddle and mess you around as well, so he's not going to, if he doesn't get any sort in the first couple of rounds, Ray, he's not going to lose his composure or anything like that.
Yeah, we spoke about his amateur background before. How difficult is it to transition into the pro game from the amateurs?
I think it's a massive leap. Some fighters have told me previously they didn't find it too much of a leap, then other fighters have said they found it a really hard transition. I sometimes think it can be based on your style. If you've got that real amateur style, then it can be hard to make that change into the pro ranks, as we saw with people like Audley Harrison. But obviously now as we've moved into more away from the point scoring system of just trying to pile up points on single flicking punches, I think a lot of fighters are now making the move into the pro ranks and doing it much more effectively.
Yeah, and Brad's certainly got a nice style for the pro game as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, as we said before, I love tall, rangy fighters. I was not around for Mark Breland's career, but I was a big fan of him in retrospect. It's one of those situations when you watch fighters that you like and you watch the defeats and think they're going to somehow turn it around this time, and it's always not to be. But even someone like Kingsley Akiki, I used to watch quite a lot as well. So I do like the tall and rangy fighters. They just appeal to what I like to see in terms of an aesthetic in boxing.
And you can see already, Dagger's backing up against the ropes, isn't he? And, you know, he's trying to make it awkward for Brad, but he's looked good behind that jab early on.
Yeah, he's ducking away, turning his back at him a couple of times as well. So it's just a case of being patient, as you say, staying on the jab. If the opponent's been a bit awkward, not getting drawn into that kind of awkward type of encounter where you end up smothering your own work and kind of it becomes counterproductive for you.
Yeah, and already it's looking to be a little bit of a frustrating night for Brad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's shaping up that way already. After only 2 minutes, it's a good test as well, because if the opponent is really, really awkward for you, it's a good test of your own mettle in terms of your discipline and the mental side of things. It's not always a physical test in there at this point. It can sometimes be a mental one as well.
Yeah, and when you're in with a dog, it is always a mental test, isn't it, really? The way he ducks and dives and holds on and makes it awkward. And it's one of those styles, isn't it? It's like someone that hasn't really been taught how to box correctly behind the jab. It's something that a lot of people haven't faced before.
Yeah, and as you say, sometimes if you've not learned how to box in an orthodox manner, it can be really difficult for your opponent to read you. If you're someone who's been brought up to do 2 jabs, a right hand and then throw a left hook, can have that kind of style we saw from the Brian Hughes gym as well, where they were very very well-schooled boxers, but sometimes that can make you a bit more easier to read. Whereas we've seen with the Ingle gym, where it's a bit more of an awkward style, a lot of their fighters are really, really difficult to read, and we're seeing them have big names come out of that gym, and also people that you see fight on the road. You give people like Rhea Kittins.
Yeah, coming to the end of this first round, Brad was just looking for an uppercut a couple of times there. It looks like the shot to throw, isn't it? Dagger just ducks his head when he goes on the inside, and he seems to be made for that right uppercut.
Yeah, and Rhea seems to be trying to time that shot, as you say. The last minute of that round was much more effective than for in the first 2 minutes, so he may have figured things out in there, and if he comes out in the second round and that's an impressive round with less fiddling around and awkwardness, then it'll be a good sign that he's learned his lessons from that first couple of minutes.
Yeah, and I think he adapted to a Dagger style fairly quickly there. We've seen people struggle for the duration of the fight because of the way he boxes a Dagger, but Brad seemed to adapt nicely to that, and we'll see how he comes out in the second round and see if he's learnt those lessons from the first round. Remember, hashtag VIP Boxing Live on Twitter. Comment on all the usual channels as well, and we'll read out as many comments as we can throughout the night. Plenty of talent on show still to come. And in fact, all the names on the bill tonight are people you should look out for in a year, 2, 3, 4 years' time. There's people that are going to be in title contention. Brad's certainly one of them. That was better work from Brad behind the feints as well, just trying to draw something from a Dagger.
Yeah, if you can, as you say, if he feints, then he can cause his opponent to react and start to read him a little bit more, so we may see more of that in this particular round, which will be good if that's the case.
Yeah, Luke Evans, his gym mate, just calling for him to try and work that body.
Yeah, it's not a bad shout, as you say. Sometimes you see these big fighters are actually quite adept at throwing body shots as well.
And there is that right uppercut we were talking about earlier. He's certainly looking for it now, Brad.
Yeah, you spotted that one earlier, Luke, and as you say, that might be the punch for him. It's just a stumble into the corner.
Yeah, I think he just slipped on the Toblerone in that corner there, but this is better pressure from Brad. You can see he's thinking about his work now.
Yeah, the Toblerone probably fell out the referee's pockets, and we know the referees like a bit of chocolate between fights to keep themselves in an energetic state.
A little warning for a Dagger as well for just dropping his head when he comes on the inside. Steve Gray's been there, done it, hasn't he? He's a referee, he's seen everything.
Yeah, it's a top man, Steve. He's a really good referee as well, and I think he's an underrated judge of a fight. I say that because he always agrees with my scorecard usually, so he's definitely an underrated judge of a fight.
Yeah, much better round this from Brad so far. Still plenty of time to go. But there you've seen it. It's what we talked about earlier. Dagger's so elusive, isn't he, when he has his back to the ropes?
Yeah, as we've just seen him there, he slipped 2 consecutive jabs, and at the same time he just kind of pushed his hands out so that Rhea couldn't advance forward on him. It's frustrating for maybe people to watch, but it's something that the fighter has to learn to adapt to, and there he's just landed a couple of body shots, as we mentioned earlier, a right hand to the body followed by the left hook.
Yeah, he's certainly picking his shots a lot better than he did in that opener. Right hand to the body there.
And the body makes sense. If someone's an awkward mover and they've got good head movement, then the body's not going to move. The body's a stationary target. It's going to be there wherever they are. So it's a good thing to target. If you're not having any success to the head, then just drop your shots down to the body. Your opponent will start thinking about defending their body a little bit more, and that's when you can switch the attack up to the head, as we've seen Ray trying to do now.
Yeah, coming towards the end of that second round, Dagger's just getting a warning for holding, using his head. A little clash of heads on the inside there. And, something you get used to seeing when you see a Dagger box. And he's one of these guys, I'm surprised he doesn't get cut more, because he seems to clash heads with everyone that he boxes when he gets on the inside.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. People talk about the angle of people's faces and the way the cheekbones are. Some people are more susceptible to cutting, and then on the upper side of the spectrum you get fighters who just never get cut. Kind of like the difference between Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis in Unbreakable, just two ends of a very big spectrum. But yeah, I've seen fighters who just never get cut no matter what they get hit with.
Yeah, Dagger breathing heavily in that corner, just feeling the pace a little bit, I'm thinking then. If you're in Brad's corner now, what are you telling him? How do you get to someone that's as elusive as a Dagger is?
I'd say what we said earlier, maybe aim for the body. Obviously body shots is something that you invest in over the longer course of a fight, but in a fight like this, when you're finding it difficult to punch someone into the head, switch your attack to the body, maybe make a concerted effort to attack their body, then just switch the attacks up, and once you've done that, and try and put your shots through the middle, because as we've seen, the head movement is from side to side, and then when it comes back to the middle, try and crack him with an uppercut.
Yeah, and I think this fight is a prime example of showing the difference between transitioning from the amateurs to the pros as well, isn't it? Because you never get an opponent like this in the amateur game.
No, and in the professional ranks like this, it's a bit of a cheesy phrase, but you need to have in-game management where you can actually think about your performance as it's happening. You're not going to go into a fight like this where you've worked on a game plan in the gym. You're going to go out the first minute of the round. If you've got a good boxing brain, you can read an opponent within the first minute of the round. You can pick up on the little ticks and the little habits and then work on how to exploit them.
Yeah, Dagger's just come out throwing a few more shots in this third round. And it sounds strange to say, doesn't it? But that'll play into Brad's hands a lot more. There'll be a few more openings now with Dagger's throwing shots. Nice left up to the body.
Yeah, if you've gone from a guy who's not throwing punches and then he suddenly starts opening up, it's either a sign that he's frustrated or maybe he's started to figure you out a little bit as well, because it's a two-way street. These opponents also know how to figure opponents out. They just don't always pull the trigger on it sometimes. So, but he's reasserted himself in this one, Ray, I think, again, off the jab. There's less head movement, or he's maybe reading the head movement a little bit more, and his own guard is tight as well. So there's a lot of positive stuff going on right now.
Yes, it's been a good fight for him to learn from as well, isn't it? Because he's had to catch a lot of the shots. Brad, Dagger's come out attacking in this third round, and Brad, he looked good defensively then as well, something he hasn't had to show in the opening couple.
Yeah, and as you say, his defence has looked solid enough than what we've seen of it, so there's no real causes for concern there when his punches coming in back in his direction, although he just took a bit of a jab in the right hand as we spoke.
Nice uppercut that from Brad again, snapped the head back of a Dagger in the corner.
Yeah, that was his best work for the fight so far, the right uppercut, and then he got the left hook in as well before his opponent moved off. Again, the action got a little bit messy there. Referees telling him not to hold, and they got to the point as well. He's obviously seen enough.
Yeah, and rightly so, I think, especially in this third round. He's been holding a lot more than he has done previously. And that's a sign that opening up hasn't worked for a Dagger. I've seen him a few times. Sometimes it shocks his opponent a bit and gives him a bit of respite, but Brad's dealt with that really well. Yeah,
he's dealt with it well. He was winning the round. He's got a -1 in the deduction column as well, so he's going to effectively, when the scores are tallied up, it'll be a 10-8 round for him. So, yeah, it's been a really successful third round for Raya.
Into the last minute of this third round, scheduled for 4, of course. Speaking to Brad as well, he wants to step up in the round as well. He wants to be in the 6th round the next time or the time after, keep him busy, and he certainly looks capable of that, doesn't he, based on this performance and his previous 3.
Yeah, I've rarely met fighters who want to do 4 rounds. They just don't like it. It's something that you have to do in order to make that movement into the pro ranks. A few years ago, 6 2-minute rounds used to be a popular thing, and fighters hated that as well. They wanted either 6 threes or nothing at all. So, yeah, it can be a funny thing for fighters doing the 4-round distance. They just see it as a stepping stone and a building block to the 6 threes and 8 threes, and then the 10 and 12 rounders.
Yeah, another round in the bank, and it looks like. It looks like it's going to take something really dramatic now for the tide to change in this fight, well, especially with the point deduction.
Yeah, and Reed's just going to come out and do more of the same in the 4th round. There's no point in him taking any real risk. It's with someone who's awkward. They've tangled up a couple of times, and you don't want to clash of heads or anything like that to pop up. So he'll just come out in this round, cool, calm and collected, fighting off his jab, and just pile up 1 more round's worth of points in order to win the fight.
Yeah, it's been another good learning fight for him as well in the pro game. He's not had an easy introduction, like we said before. Jordan Granham's he's a tough test for your debut as well.
Yeah, Granham is a really awkward fighter, so that debut performance, he'll have seen pretty much a lifetime's worth of awkwardness from Granham in that fight. So this one probably seems like a walk in the park in comparison, but he's been made to think a couple of times, and Reed's been made to work as well.
Yeah, and he's just come out for this round, southpaw, just changing it up a little bit. I've seen him work on the pads in the gym in the southpaw stance, and it's good to see that he's putting that into action, and he feels comfortable enough to do that in there. Yeah, and when you're in with such a tricky opponent like a Dagger, it's always good to mix things up as much as you can.
Yeah, he may come out for the last round, as you say. He's worked on fighting as a southpaw in the gym. He knows he's not at risk of losing this fight, so he may have come out and thought, I'm going to experiment in this round and fight as a southpaw and see how it goes. I mean, we forget Tyson Fury did it for the entire fight against Rogan early in his career and kind of just came out and bought southpaw for the entire fight, and it worked for him. Some fighters can do it and some fighters can't.
Yeah, Ray just caught him with a shot there as he came in, a Dagger. This is more like the Dagger we're used to seeing on the back foot, isn't it? And then coming in close to hold.
Yeah, he swung a couple of shots there, but he doesn't like what he's seeing at the moment, unless you say Ray showing that he can fight equally adeptly in both stances.
That's always the danger, isn't it, though? Those wild pot shots that a Dagger threw, a left hook there and a right hook that landed then. Yeah,
it's a really good right hook, that, and it just kind of bounced off Ray's forehead. If it was on his chin, it may have been giving him a lot more to think of.
Yeah, it seemed to spark Ray into life a little bit, though. He landed a couple of good shots there of his own right hand, finishing that combination off.
Yeah, it looks like maybe got him back on it. If there was any worry of him drifting, a few of those shots sailing past his chin and one of them bouncing off his forehead may have given him a chance to reassert himself. Back when I used to train, I'm left-handed, so I could fight in the southpaw, and I was equally bad in the orthodox stance as well, so I was completely unadept in both stances.
A little bit of a rugby tackle from a Dagger, as you're talking then. One of the more unorthodox moves that you see in a boxing ring.
Yeah, we've seen rugby tackles. We've seen Nassim Hamed just slamming people off the canvas as well. So it's just one of those things. It's usually a sign of frustration as well.
Yeah, more importantly, it bought a Dagger a few seconds there. Brad landed a nice straight left hand there. He's gone back to orthodox now for the final minute of the round. You can see Brad's getting frustrated in there a little bit as well, isn't he? He's not had the chance to show the skills that he's got tonight.
Yeah, it'll be frustrating for him, especially particularly this final round where nothing. He came out as a southpaw and was effective, but now it's just been a tough bit of a grind this round for him. More so than his opponent, because his opponent knows he's just going to get through this round and get back on the road again. Whereas, as you say, Ray would have been open to show his fans a lot more tonight.
Yeah, Gumshield just coming out of a Dagger's mouth there, buying himself a few seconds breather. 30 seconds to go in this final round, and the finish line is certainly in sight for him. There's no doubt who's been in charge throughout this contest, though.
Yeah, as you say, it's going to be a clear win for Ray, especially with the point deduction. He'll be frustrated, but he'll go into the next fight. He's got an entire year to work with as well, and he knows that there's going to be fights on the horizon where he can come out and show what he can really do.
Yeah, job done as far as Bradley Ray's concerned. And like I said about Ali, getting back in after that Christmas break, it's always good to get the rounds in the bank.
Yeah, I thought he won 40 points to 35 because of the point deduction, and I'd be surprised if Steve Gray had it any different. He was effective without being dominant throughout that fight.
Yeah, and I know his gym mates know him as 40-36 man. They'll have to change that up a bit now with that point deduction. Wait for referee Steve Gray to top the scorecard, but there's no doubt about who's got that decision. Another man from the VIP stable moving to 4-0 tonight. Yeah, a lot of people on the stream complimenting Brad on that performance.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds of boxing action, star referee Steve Gray has adjourned this particular contest 40 points to 35 points, excuse me, for your winner, heading from Stratford, Bradley Ray. Your appreciation, please, for Victor.
There we have it then, and just as we thought, every round for Brad. And that's the right scorecard, isn't it? No doubt about that.
Yeah, he lost. The opponent lost 4 rounds. He had a point deduction as well, so we can't complain about that. And it was awkward. He was infringing on the rules a couple of times, so he was told by the referee. And the referee hasn't got any fixed amount of times that he has to warn a fighter before he can take a point. The rules say it's strictly the referee's discretion, and that's what he's decided to do.
Yeah, A bit strange, really. The Hatton's Gym had 2 guys boxing tonight who were in the ring at the same time, and Conor Walker just got 3rd round stoppage, so no, Hatton's Gym's buzzing at the moment, and they'll both be happy with that.
Yeah, he's really doing well with the fights at the moment at the Hatton Gym.
Yeah, and Brad's ringside now with John Evans. Grab a few words with Brad.
From my first 3 fights as well. I feel like I'm going to be better when I get them extra rounds out, so looking forward to that.
Well, how do you work out your progress so far? You know, you've been active in the first 6 months, haven't you? It's your 4th fight. Are you pleased how it's gone?
Yeah, really happy. I just want to stay busy. Like, I'm only just turned 21, so I'm a baby really. But yeah, looking forward to the future, definitely.
You had a real amateur style when you first turned over, but now you can see you're slowly becoming more and more professional, sitting down a bit. Obviously, didn't get a chance to unload fully on that guy tonight, but the power seems to be coming.
Yeah, it's coming. Not quite there yet, but it's coming. But yeah, like I said, when I get over the round, I feel like I'm going to be a lot better. And also, you know, when I'm in them 50-50 fights with someone who's, you know, coming to have a go, is going to try and knock me out, I'm looking forward to that. And I think that's when I'll show how good I really am.
Good. Well, there you go. Bradley Ray, still unbeaten. Back up to Luke.
We have a good performance that from Brad, and from one top prospect in the Northwest to another, and Jack Rafferty's been looking electric on the pads behind us, doing his warm-up here with his new camp, and you know, he'll be looking to make a little bit of a statement now he's moved camps as well with Steve Mailer. Yeah, we were saying downstairs before, it's an early point in his career to make this particular decision, and it's a brave decision to make. Fighters can often get complacent, but that's not been the case. And here comes Richard Samuels. He's a little bit of an unknown quality, Richard Samuels. Not much footage of him. Not many people have seen much of him in the ring. So you know, that poses different challenges that Jack might not have faced before in his career. See him walking towards the ring now. And one thing you can say for certain, he's going to be strong on the inside, isn't he? Yeah, he's, like you say, it's been a weird career for him. He turned pro in April 2017 against Ricky Rowlands, won that one, then he lost in October 2018 on points, then March 2019 he lost again on points, and he's not been seen since, so he's a bit of a man of mystery, as you say. Yeah, and one thing we know is he's going to be coming in there to try and get a win against Jax. It'd be a big statement for him if he could do. Yeah, because his record, although he's only had 3 fights, one of those fights was a win, a decision win. So yeah, he's coming here tonight. That's a bit of an unknown quantity, which can be interesting in and of itself. Looks a lot more focused than a Dagger did, doesn't he? Yeah, it looks like he's come for the fight. Just waiting for the next boxer. Here comes his opponent, Jack Rafferty. You know, of course, a lot of changes for him in recent months, changing in camps, and it'd be interesting to see if he's changed his style at all, moving to Steve's camp. Yeah, it'd be probably a bit too early for him to make a complete change of style, but Steve will have certainly started working on little things with him already. As we say, he's a perfectionist as well, Steve Mailer, so I imagine he'll have seen a lot that he wants to work on and develop over the course of the next coming fights. Yeah, this one's scheduled for 6, of course. There's plenty of time for Jack to work on things in there if it goes his own way. Liam Taylor in the background there. We saw him last time out in the VIP show. He looked brilliant against Tyrone Nurse. He'll be fighting for titles very, very soon. It's a booming camp, the Finest Gym, at the moment. Yeah, and they're all pushing each other on. I think that's the main thing. We talked about it on previous shows. If a gym is really thriving, it's good for the training because the gym will kind of take care of itself in terms of the fighters pushing each other on. There is Steve Mailer entering the ring before Jack Rafferty gets in there. Jack's another one that brings a lot of support wherever he goes. And it's just little things as well. John Murray always said he used to be the best runner in the gym, and other fighters to try and push him on and take that title from him. We do apologise for the time so much from Katie Bill. Due to unforeseen circumstances, we are down to 5 contests.
Contest number 3 is 6 300 boxing in the super welterweight division. Introducing to first the boxing out of the blue corner, the National Trust True White, at the weighing scale 10-7 pounds. Tonight is his fourth professional contest, presenting from Bolton, Richard Samuel. And once again, boxing out of the red corner, the National Trust True at the weighing scale 10-13 pounds. His perfect complementary routine, 6 contests, 6 wins, 3 others wins, 25 away, all out. From his hometown shore has the main camp here is the demolition man, the undefeated Jack Rafferty. Thank you once again for the Saturday, the 11th small president, charge of the engine, 6 meters.
Here we go then, and Jack certainly looked focused in that corner. A lot more focused than I've seen him looking before.
Yeah, that might be the effect of working with Steve Mailer. Anyone who's met Steve knows he's a very focused, intense individual.
Seconds out, round 1.
And Mailer's got a very specific idea about what he expects from his fighters, and he demands that from them. For this first round for Rafferty, as you say, because he doesn't know much about his opponent, it's going to be a reconnaissance mission.
Yeah, and early on he started a lot quicker than he has done in a few of his previous fights. That's clearly something that they've added to his game.
Yeah, we're looking to impress his new team as well. 3 minutes, this 3 minutes, Steve may learn more about him than he's learned from the time they spent together in the gym as well.
Already you can see he's kind of been moulded into that finest style, even though he's only been there for a few months. You see the way he's boxing is reminiscent of the other guys in the gym.
Yeah, and as you say, it's a big, bold decision he made, especially coming off a KO win in December. So it's an interesting decision. You don't have to see fighters do something like this until well into the career, where it may be a little bit too late or they're too long in the tooth to be taught new tricks. Yeah,
it's an interesting time to change trainer, isn't it? You usually see it after a fighter has a defeat, and they kind of blame that as the reason why. But Jack's clearly took it upon himself to move camps this early in his career, and we'll see if it was the right choice.
And it might just be one of those things he walked in the first day and thought, this is the place for me. Training a lot of the time, I often talked with Jamie Moore about it's about having chemistry with your fighters. Some trainers can be hired gun type or train anyone as long as some money's good that's on offer. I used to talk with Billy Graham a lot, and Billy said he couldn't train someone unless he loved them or had an emotional connection with them, and that's just the case of the way it is with some trainers and some fighters, and they just click and gel and get on a personal level as well.
Yeah, 2 minutes into this opening round, and one thing to note is Richard Samuels has come with a lot of ambition here, hasn't he? He's thrown a lot of shots early on, something we don't tend to see.
Yeah, he's actually been on the front foot as well, so he's not a shrinking wallflower.
Yeah, and it's a good opponent for Jack at this stage of his career as well. We talked about Ben Fields earlier, but there's a few of these journeymen that have come, and they come and have a real go now. It's changed the tide a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's why Rafferty's taken this first round to have a look. He's winning the round so far, but you should say his opponent's come out a couple of times and took centre ring, and looks like he really fancies giving it a go at some point. That might change when he gets clipped, you never know, but so far so good.
He's settled in really nicely to this Jack Rafferty. Lovely sharp jab that he's throwing out early on. Oh, but like I said, Samuel's had a little bit of success of his own in this opening round. Jack's not had everything his own way, and that's good. That's what you want to see at this point of his career. Nice body shot there from Samuels, and Rafferty landed a shot of his own over the top. It's a round that's really ebbed and flowed, hasn't it? And both players have had periods of success.
Yeah, I should say Samuels looks like he knows what he's doing, which makes it all the more eyebrow-raising that he's only had 3 fights over the course of 3 years. Maybe there's other reasons for that, but he clearly knows how to box. He's taken centre ring a couple of times, and he looks calm as well. So we'll see if he's got any ambition coming into these next couple of rounds as well.
Yeah, certainly a pretty even first round. I think Jack edged it, but like I said, didn't have everything his own way. And what would you be telling him in that corner?
I'd say to start building on the work he's done in the first round. Obviously not to take any chances, but he knows he's in there with someone who looks like they know what they're doing. So you don't want to give them any confidence or let them build up any momentum or take any ground from you. So I'd be telling him to come out, make sure those moments when Samuels came and touched centre ring, maybe eliminate those moments, be more dominant from the ring centre.
Seconds out. Round 2.
Here we go with round 2 then. You can hear a few people from the crowd shouting for him to fire that jab in early as well. He started to establish it towards the end of that round. A lovely right hand over the top again.
And in terms of his body language at the start of this round, it looks like he's come out with a fire underneath him, so he's probably learned some lessons from that first round and he wants to come out and make a real statement in this second round, and he's starting to do that so far.
Yeah, it's one of the trademarks of fights from the finest, isn't it, using that jab. We've seen Terry do it, Liam Taylor, Dale Coyne, all the fights from that gym use it very well, and you can see they've kind of put it on Jack to improve his jab, and he looks to have in this opening round and a half.
Yeah, I think having a really good jab is just something that's innate to people called Terry. I don't know what it is, but I should say Flanagan from the Southpaw stance got a good one as well. We've seen that with Jack tonight, and this has been a chalk and cheese performance in terms of how he's come out this second round. So he's clearly saw or felt something in there that's made him feel emboldened, even though he's boxing a little bit more on the back foot at times. He's boxing effectively and quite strongly on the back foot.
Yeah, and Rafferty's right hand just starting to find a target on more regular occasions. And Samuel's good little combination of his own there. Rafferty looked pretty comfortable taking them on his arms, but a bit of ambition shown. Nice right uppercut again from Rafferty. He's picked his shots nicely in this round.
Yeah, I should say this round he came out, just something about him from the start of the round. He looked like he wanted to come out and be more assertive, and that's certainly been the case, but he's been clipped a couple of times as well. Yeah,
Samuel's on the front foot again. We saw that towards the end of the first round, and he's had a bit of success again in this second. Nice body shot from Rafferty with that right hand.
And both of them try swinging uppercuts through as well while they're within range for each other. So you've got two fighters by the look of it in there who both want to win the fight, and that's always a good building block for a decent performance from either one or both.
Yeah, Rafferty's starting to dig in with these body shots he's throwing with that right hand. He's landed a couple now to the body. Nice right hand again from Rafferty. He's settled into this contest now, hasn't he?
Yeah, as I say, at the start of the second round, he just looks like he was on it a bit more. He's taken a few clubbing shots there in close, so he's going to have to watch out for that. He's winning the round so far, but it's not an easy round to take by any means for him.
Yeah, and Samuels, to his credit, he's kept coming forward during this round, like he did in the first. No, and Rafferty's showing skills that we haven't really seen before from him in the ring, being on that back foot, using his jab and picking his shots nicely.
Yeah, and he's on the back foot. It's not like he's gone onto the back foot because he's been dominated. He wants to be there, so he obviously wants to show a different facet of his game off tonight.
Lovely left hook again from Rafferty. Yeah, he's showing skills that we don't usually see until these fighters step up in the level. So Samuel's a good opponent to get in there tonight.
Yeah, I like what I've seen of him so far, even if he goes away with a defeat in his record tonight. I think he's shown that he's got some qualities that can be worked on, and sometimes it might just be the case instead of slipping into that journeyman mentality, you walk up with a trainer who's going to bring out the best of what you have.
Yeah, and you can't forget Jack Rafferty is a top prospect, and a lot of people have been talking about him as someone who can go on and win titles, so it's not like he's in there with a bang average prospect that we can see. You know, Jack's a top talent.
Yeah, and you can just watching Jack fight, he knows what he's doing in there, and now he's with a trainer who can bring out his maximum potential. I think it's going to be a really interesting year for Rafferty this year.
Yeah, and we said it before when we were speaking about Brad and Muhammad Ali, but it's important he keeps active this year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's important for any fighter. Builds up a fan base, gets your momentum going as well. An amorous couple there in the front row just having a little bit of a kiss. That's nice to see the boxing. It's like Valentine's night all over again, but with extra fighting. But again, Rafferty, when he comes out, it just looks like in his mind, or maybe he's been told in the corner, come out, assert yourself, and may not have looked at this opponent through the first 6 minutes, and like me and you, realise he's in there with someone who actually knows what he's doing and is a good, fundamentally sound boxer, so may not be giving him plenty of advice in the corner about that.
Yeah, and Rafferty just started to find openings with that right hand towards the end of that second round. Be looking to do the same here. Nice clubbing right hand over the top landed then.
And again, Rafferty going for the roundhouse right up, trying for the big shots.
Lovely upper body movement from Rafferty to get out of the way of that shot. Coming from Samuels then. He's shown a lot already tonight, Rafferty, hasn't he? We're not even halfway through this contest.
Yeah, and Samuels as well has shown a couple of jabs already in this round as well. So sometimes you need an opponent to bring it to you in order to show the best of your repertoire.
Credit to Samuels, he's still coming forward though, isn't he? But he's throwing less shots than he did early on, and that's credit to Rafferty.
Yeah, and it's someone who's only fought once a year and had a kind of staccato career the way he's had. You can see it starting to affect him now in this third round, although he's opened up a little bit more there.
Lovely left hook on the way out from Rafferty landed there though.
And the thing with Samuels, and it's just been emphasised there, is that he comes square on sometimes when he's coming forward, or he's throwing his own punches, and his leg went up a little bit slightly there under the force of one of Rafferty's punches. So we could see you for the stoppage due to that, or a flash knockdown at some point.
Yeah, nice right hand that from Samuels. He's just giving Rafferty something to think about at times. Looking for that big left hook again. Both men threw that at the same time. Nice again from Rafferty just to get out of range from Samuels. Like, give himself a little bit of a breather and reset. Said it in the first round, he's looking for that right hand to the body. He landed it there again. He's clearly thinking about his work in there, Jack, even though he is under pressure.
Yeah, and as you say, a thinking fight is always a good thing. They'll dissect their opponents down, work on the fight on a round-by-round basis. So we're starting to see Jack do that a little bit more in this fight. As he gets clipped himself, but he landed a really solid left hook as well, and then the left hook to the body again.
30 seconds left to go in this third round. You can hear the corner calling for that 1-2. They want Jack to keep his opponent off with that jab. Samuels landing a body shot of his own there, though. It's been a really good round of action, this one, so far.
Yeah, it's been a good round. It's got a bit messy towards the end, but they've both been committed as well throughout the course of this round. I still think Rafferty won the round, but the round's not by any means easy ones for him to take.
Yeah, and Steve Torkington's just said on the Facebook stream, it's nice to see both guys coming forward. Yeah, these are perfect learning fights for someone that staged Jack's career. Well, there's no point putting him in with these guys that he's dealt with early on in his career.
And with this one being a 6th rounder as well, he's got a couple of extra rounds to work with Jack, more time spending with his trainer as well in the corner.
Yeah, and it's important that, isn't it, this one, scheduled for 6. You know, if a fighter does lose the first round, you can feel like you're chasing the fight in a 4, whereas a 6, you've got plenty of time to settle down, adapt to the fight, and get the job done later on.
Yeah, it's just a much more relaxed environment for the fighter.
Round 4.
Well, like I said earlier, Jack's shown a lot tonight on the front and the back foot. He started every round on the front foot, and then Samuel seems to come strong in the middle of the round.
Yeah, he comes out each round with the ambition that he'd expect from a young prospect, and he's given plenty to think about in return as well. So, as we said before, the rounds are going his way, but it's by no means a walk in the park.
Nice jab from Samuels landing there.
He's looking better at the start of this round. Actually, Samuels, like the dip in pace, suits someone like him.
Yeah, he does square up when he comes on the inside, doesn't he? You mentioned that earlier, and that's something that Jack can maybe start to target.
Yeah, he took a shot early on and one of his legs pinged up off the floor a little bit, and it's something for Jack to look out for.
There's that jab from Jack, though, snapping the head back of Samuels.
It's been a good round so far for Samuels. Jack's had to tuck up quite a lot. They're not every punches by any means coming his way, but it's certainly showing a lot of intent on the behalf of his opponent.
Yeah, and usually these guys in the away corner come out with intent in the first round and seem to tuck up and try and survive for the rest. But Samuel's got a lot of ambition, and you can see the corner there calling him on. They certainly fancy this one. Nice uppercut there landed as well. Rafferty gets back with one of his own. And left hook again from Rafferty. It's just the quality of the work's coming from Jack.
Yeah, Rafferty put him back in his place a little bit there, but Samuels whipped in a right hook to the body and then a left hook to the body as well.
Uppercut landed again from Rafferty. Interesting to see if Samuel starts to feel the pace here. Oh, Rafferty landed a lovely left hook to the head again, and Samuel's just started to tuck up on those ropes. He's got to be feeling a couple of these shots now.
Yeah, he's taking the body shots. That work he did in the first couple of minutes of the round, although not as pretty as the work received from Rafferty, was effective at helping him pick up a few points.
Double jab, right hand, textbook stuff from Rafferty. That right hand landing straight down the pipe. He's responded really well to the pressure, Rafferty.
Yeah, he came out, had not a torrid time, but he had a tough first 2 minutes of this round, but he's come back with the more quality work.
And 30 seconds left for the fourth round, scheduled for 6, of course. Nice right hand to the body again from Rafferty. Samuel's coming back with his own shots.
Yeah, coming back with shots off the rope. Samuels, he's really putting a lot of effort into this round, Samuels. And it's good for Rafferty to see someone who's throwing punches and is actually trying to push him back onto the back foot and take his play away from him.
Yeah, it just seems to be a lot more snap in the shots that Jack's throwing. A lot more intent in them. Nice right hand over the top again as we come towards the end of this round.
So that was a good round for him to learn a few lessons. I actually thought Samuels won that round. He did some better work in the early part of the round, and when the pace dropped, the pace went back up again from Rafferty a little bit. Then Rafferty came back into the round, but I thought Samuels did enough early on to nick the round on my card.
Yeah, it's certainly something for Jack to think about. You know, we always want to see these guys learning, and he certainly has done it.
So he's got round 5 to 6 as well now to see if Samuels comes out with some more intent again in this next round, or whether that was his one last big attempt to try and get himself back into a fight that he was losing.
Yeah, Osai's just said on the Facebook stream that he thinks Samuels is blowing a little bit here, and like you said, it'd be interesting to see if that's his. He's had a little bit of a go there, and now he just decides to tuck up and get through the rounds.
Set out, round 5.
Two more rounds of this one to go.
And again, Rafferty comes out behind the jab all intent.
You know, Samuels is still throwing shots though. You know, credit to his fitness as well. With gum shield flying out there, Rafferty. Referee calling a timeout to allow him to put it back in.
And Rafferty is so eager to get on with it, he puts it in without having it rinse. He clearly believes in the 5-second rule. I'm not quite sure I would in a boxing ring.
Yeah, of all the places to drop something and then put it in your mouth, it wouldn't be a ring.
No. I'm not even going into that one. But again, Rafferty comes back out, reasserts himself, so I think this is going to shaping up to be his most impressive round in the fight if he can keep up this pace.
Yeah, both men going to the body there. Samuel's back to the ropes.
And although a couple of shots coming back from Samuels, in the last round his shots looked a bit like he had quite heavy hands, but this round he looks quite wary when he's throwing them.
A lovely right hand again from Rafferty. Just seemed to stun Samuels a little bit there. But like we said in the last round, there's a lot of spike coming from the shots of Jack, whereas Samuels is just trying to keep him off with the shots he's throwing. Right hand again through the guard.
Yeah, that right hand through the middle seems to be the key shot for him this round. He's also tried it to the body as well, and he's tried looping it into a hook. Samuels clubs him with a couple of shots, but there just doesn't seem to be any velocity on them this time.
A lovely right hand again, yet again from Rafferty. That's been the shot so far, isn't it? The straight right hand and then the body shots. Really picking his punches nicely now.
Yeah, and in this round, more than any round we've seen, Samuels is starting to lose cohesion. A bit like George Stark, he's starting to come apart a little bit.
And one thing you know about the guys that come out of the fighting team is they'll be fit for the whole of the distance, and Jack will keep throwing shots all the way through this.
Yeah, he landed a right hand when he trapped him in the ropes there a second ago. Then now he's trying for the uppercuts. It's been his best round of the fight so far.
A wild left up from Samuels, missing by quite a distance. Yeah, Rafferty's still switched on defensively as well, which is always good to see.
Yeah, and he needs to be as well. Some fighters tend to neglect defence in fights like this because they think that the opponents aren't going to be able to get them with a big shot, but that's how you learn bad habits, and once you get a bad habit, it's hard to shake it off.
Yeah, both men are certainly going to know they've been in a fight when they wake up tomorrow morning.
Yeah, Samuels threw a few shots there, and even though he's had quite a tough round, he's still letting his opponent know he's still in the fight. He's still throwing away, and he's still a dangerous opponent.
Yeah, missing with that left uppercut to come dangerously close. That's a connecting from Rafferty. We'll come towards the end of the penultimate round of this one, and I think Steve Mayo and his team will be happy in that corner, won't they, from what they've seen from Jack tonight?
Yeah, and I think after that previous round, he came back and reasserted himself early in the following round and maintained it throughout the course of that round.
Lee Hurley saying a brilliant brawl this bout. It's what we want to see on these small horse shows, isn't it?
Yeah, as you say, it's going to be a win for Rafferty. It's going to be a fairly sound win on my card as well if things go on the way they've been going, but it's not by any means been a fight where he's just come out, took every round without even having to take a punch in return. He's learned a bit of a lesson tonight.
A bit of swelling over that right eye of Samuels as well from the volume of shots that Rafferty's been throwing his way. So the heads haven't come close.
Corners, 10 seconds.
Matt Sankey saying Rafferty landing the cleaner shots and more eye-catching shots, and I think that's certainly been the case so far, isn't it?
Yeah, the qualities with him, you can see that when they engage punches them up close as well. The quality is just not there for Samuels, but the willingness has been there from him to try and at least give this prospect a tough night.
A lovely left up to the body landing from Rafferty again. This one, the last of the schedule 6, and I wouldn't mind seeing this over a longer distance, and Samuel's certainly someone I hope we see more on the VIP shows.
Yeah, like I say, he's not fought often. He's fought over the course of 3 years. He's fought 3 times, so it would be nice to see him maybe appear on a few more of these types of shows to maybe pop up with a win or two along the line as well.
Yeah, and we talk about matching the VIP fights together. I wouldn't mind seeing a few from him with someone with the ambition of Samuels as well. He's very capable of fighting in his own right. Nice uppercut there from Samuels to that right hand. Doubling and tripling it up. Rafferty's coming back with a left hook of his own. There's a lot of power behind that right hand that Rafferty's throwing. He seems to have hurt him a little bit a couple of times. The right hand round the guard as well.
Yeah, this round and the last, that right hand has been a key punch. It's the one that we've definitely had the most impact. It's maybe something he's been working on in the gym, and they've identified that as one of his key weapons, although his left hook has been quite nice as well.
And there's that right uppercut you're talking about landing. You can see Samuel, he's technically good as well, isn't he? He's landing some textbook shots of his own on the inside. Missing with the left hook there, and then the right hook. It's good defensive work from Rafferty.
Yeah, it's been impressive tonight, Rafferty. I think he had a little bit of a dip in one of the rounds, but he's had a tough opponent in front of him who's not giving him absolutely anything for free.
Yeah, coming towards the last minute of this contest. There's no doubt that Jack's going to get the decision here, but he's had to work for it, and that's all we can ask for at this stage of his career.
Yeah, and as you said earlier, he's going to go away knowing that he's had a fight tonight. He's going to go away feeling a few aches and pains, which is a good thing as well, and he can go back into the gym and do some work with his new team and work on what they've seen tonight.
Another timeout call from the referee. The second time his gum shield's just fallen out. Give him both a little bit of a breather. Get to the last 45 seconds of this one. Yeah, Jack straight back out on that front foot. And another good round is for both men, and it's been a fight where both men have had success in every round.
Yeah, we've seen flashes from Samuels, as you say, in each of the rounds, and tonight, here in the final round, he's still trying to bully and harass his opponent as well. So it's been a good learning curve performance for Rafferty tonight.
not far away from the final bell here, and both men looking to finish strong. Wild right hook again from Samuels. And there's the class showing up. Rafferty just slipping that jab, coming back one of his own. Good performance. You see the swelling around Samuel's right eye then.
Yeah, it's a bad swelling. That's going to keep him out for at least a couple of weeks, but it would be nice to see him again in some capacity. I think he did come here tonight and earn his money and try and put on a performance in the away corner. And I think that's what Steve Mailer is acknowledging there.
Yeah, I know you've been scoring that one. How did you have it?
I had it 59 to 55. Obviously just a one round for Samuels. I thought he did a good job in, was it round 4, but then Rafferty just came back and reasserted himself, so we'll see what the referee thought of it.
Yeah, and considering he changed camp, been a lot of changes for him in the build-up to this. A very good performance that for Jack Rafferty. The referee calling both fighters in, and we'll get the official result very shortly. We'll be very surprised if we see anything but a win for Jack Rafferty in that red corner. The referee scoring that one 60-55, the share of that 4th round then instead of giving it to Samuels.
Yeah, I imagine that's the only round I could think that you could make a case for Samuels.
Yeah, and shortly John Evans will be with Jack Rafferty ringside, and then we'll have a word with Mohammed. And Jack just posing for photos in the ring. Well, like we said, Jack changing camps for this one, been a good performance that. And he'll be with John Evans ringside shortly for a few words. And then after that, we'll be speaking to Muhammad Ali. We didn't get a chance to catch him after his fight. See what he made of that performance, moving to 4-0 tonight. Jack just getting out of the ring there. Hopefully we can grab a few words with him. Just while we're waiting for Jack, Mohammed's joined us now. And what did you make of that performance tonight?
I felt great. You know, I'm under new training, a new coach, Carl Ince, and we were just in there, you know, to get the rounds in and just boxing.
Yeah, and MJ Hall's a difficult opponent for anyone to get in with, but you dealt with him well in there tonight.
Yeah, I think it was the 3rd round I rocked him massively, and I should have jumped on him then, you know, with a good combination, like, and tried getting him out of there, but I just stuck to the game plan. Carl wanted me to get the rounds in.
Yeah, and obviously last time out against Ben Field, a fellow undefeated fighter, it's a bit of a change, isn't it, going from someone with the ambition that Field showed to someone who is tucking up and trying to survive like MJ Hall did tonight?
Yeah, that was a great fight with Ben Field, who brought the best out of me, and now today we're just back to a boxing lesson.
Yeah, and your ambition going forward now is to keep as busy as you can and get out as soon as you can?
Yeah, keep busy and get better and better, you know, at the game.
Well, brilliant performance tonight, well done.
Thank you, appreciate it, thank you, mate.
Muhammad Ali there, moving to 4-0. We'll see him on the VIP shows again very soon. One of the VIP talents that we've got.
Still sponsored by Televisions and multi-wire.com, areas of unpleasant content throughout the evening. Please welcome from Simon Henry.
Moving on with the action here. Penultimate bout of the evening. James Moorcroft in with Simon Henry. And here comes Simon Henry. Moorcroft's been crying out for a step up in opponents, and he's got that tonight. Henry comes with 3 wins, 3 defeats and a draw. And you know, he's a bit of an unknown quantity. I know Moorcroft hasn't seen much of him. Interesting to see how he settles into this one.
Yeah, I like Moorcroft. I like what I've seen of him so far. I think he's done well so far in his career, so I'm looking forward to seeing him out again tonight.
Yeah, and speaking to Steve Wood earlier, he wants to mix Moorcroft in with another unbeaten VIP prospect very soon, but he'll have to get the job done tonight. And Clifton Mitchell in the corner there, of course.
And the opposing side is the defeated sensation from James Moorcroft.
Here is James Moorcroft. And they've been doing a lot of sparring with Ben Capps in the build-up to this. Good quality sparring that down at Gary Booth's gym in Salford. I've been to see James a couple of times in that gym, and he's the only pro at the moment in there, but he's got such a close bond with Lee and Luke Blundell. Both in his corner tonight. He speaks about Lee as if it's his own dad. And, you know, James will be the first to admit he owes Lee a lot for transitioning into the professional game, and he's looked really good, and he's improved every time we've seen him as well.
Yeah, we mentioned before that bond with the trainer, it can be important for certain type of fighters, certain type of fighting styles as well, particularly benefit from a good bond with the trainer. So I think as we've seen with Moorcroft, it's been a work in progress throughout, all the way through to this point, and he's starting to show different things as well. People thought maybe he wouldn't be an accomplished boxer, but he's shown in recent performances he knows how to box as well, so he's really developing.
Yeah, and that fight he had with Nathan Hardy here on the VIP show was a bit like a coming out night for him. He showed the ability that he's got, and he's built on that since then, and be looking to do the same tonight. This one's scheduled for 6, so a little bit of a step down in rounds for him. But like I said, he doesn't know much about Simon Henry, which can cause its own problems. It's like being back in the amateur days, where you turn up and fight and you don't know who you've got.
But as you say, the Hardy fight seems to be a bit of a turning point for him. Maybe gave him a little bit more belief in his own ability and that he can actually box.
Here we are, and like I said, Moorcroft's been calling out for a step up in class in opponent, and he's got that tonight against Simon Henry. He's got to start well in this one.
Yeah, Henry's an unusual case in terms of his record. He turned pro in September 2011 with a win over someone called Andrew Hardy. He won his first 3 fights, and he had a draw against Dwayne Green in March of 2014. Then he just started losing fights. He lost in 2014 October to Ben Hall on points. 5th round KO to Billy Bird in February 2015. Then he disappeared for a few years. Obviously, he was sat in his house one day and thought, right, it's time, the comeback is on. And last May, he came back against Ryan Stevenson, dropped another points decision, and here he is back out again. So he certainly likes to take his time, Mr. Henry.
Yeah, and one thing to note is those 3 defeats have come against quality opposition, hasn't he? And he's got some wins under his belt. It shows he's got ambition. Moorcroft has settled in well there, though.
Yeah, he turned over well, as we say, with the 3 wins and then the draw. And maybe sometimes you forget with boxers who've got personal life and personal commitments as well. He may have had to concentrate more on his day job, and then last year he's popped back up again. And as you say, we've already seen there's a bit of a quality to him as well. He looks like he's got good balance, and he's trying his own jab, although Moorcroft sinks in a left hook to the body as well there.
Yeah, he picked that left hook to the body really nicely then. Well, we said Moorcroft's got to start well here, and he certainly has done.
Yeah, and Simon Henry's 35 years old. As you say, he's lost to some good names. You've got to ask what you can bring that's going to trouble Moorcroft there.
Yeah, it's just that element of being unexpected, isn't it? And like I said before, the Moorcroft and his team hadn't seen much footage of Henry, didn't really know what they were getting in with tonight.
Yeah, and that can be a bit disconcerting. Fighters sometimes like to watch footage. Some fighters, when they get to a certain level, don't watch any footage whatsoever and leave that to the trainers. I know John Murray locally was a big fan of just letting Joe Gallagher come up with the game plan and do some of the watching of the tapes. And then you get some fighters who slavishly watch every single second they can get on an opponent.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? It's personal touch, I suppose. And I mean, speaking to James before, he wasn't bothered in the slightest. Night right hand over the top landing. Lovely right hand again, and he's backed Henry up here.
This could be where we see a stoppage tonight because he's really going for it, Moorcroft.
Yeah, good onslaught this from James Moorcroft. He picked his shots nicely.
A little base back from Henry, but he looks really troubled there by the initial right hand.
Yeah, and he set that right hand up really nicely. Right hand over the top, caught Henry. You've just got to do more of the same now, hasn't he? Get behind that jab and set up his work. There's a right hand over the top again, landing.
Nice left hook to the body as well. We saw that punch early on in the round.
Yeah, he's not got carried away with that success either, Moorcroft. He's still picking his shots nicely.
Yeah, I just wrote down that he was calm despite landing the decent shot and then having the follow-up. He didn't go all out. He knows that he's got a lot of time to play with and has decided that he's going to play the long game.
Yeah, switch to southpaw there, the straight left backhand, a lovely shot. And a great opening round that for Moorcroft. Remember, hashtag VIP Boxing Live on Twitter. Comment on the Facebook stream and all the usual platforms we're broadcasting across tonight. Let us know what you think of the show so far. Who have you been impressed by? Let us know what you think about Moorcroft so far in the opening round. What a performance, or opening round that was, should I say. Still plenty of time to go, of course, but if he carries on like that, I don't think we'll be seeing Henry see the final bell.
Yeah, and Henry looks a bit shell shots there in the corner. It was not a massive bombardment, but he took a solid right hand and then he took a few shots on the follow-up as well. So he's gone back to his corner knowing that he's in danger in this fight.
Yeah, referee Steve Gray talking to Moorcroft in the corner, and I'm not sure what about. He had a long conversation there, didn't he, with Moorcroft? You don't usually see that.
Yeah, I didn't see any reason why that may have been prompted. We can probably catch up with Steve at some point and clear it up for everyone who wants to tune in next time.
You're wondering whether there's a nick over that right eye of Moorcroft. There's a lot of attention being put on it by George Schofield in that corner.
Yeah, we've not been able to see anything so far. If there was a slight nick, it'd be a very small one that they imagine they'd be able to seal quite quickly.
A nice right hand over the top again from Moorcroft. He found a home for that right hand early on and he keeps landing it.
Yeah, and both men have come out jabbing this round, but there's just more authority on Moorcroft's jab. Henry's putting out his jab, but it's more of a keep away from my jab, whereas Moorcroft is, I'm going to hit you in the face with this jab and then take this right hand, and by the way, it's a left hook to the body type stuff.
Looked nice behind that jab. You consider Moorcroft's come from he didn't have an amateur background, came from that white collar background. You'd expect him to not have the skills of maybe some of the other guys we've seen tonight with amateur pedigree, but he's been impressive so far behind that jab. He's got a lot of boxing fundamentals that he's been showing.
Yeah, and he seems like someone, as you say, he's got good ring fundamentals. And people sometimes forget that boxers and people who come into the sport are intelligent guys. You may have known, coming from that white collar background, that people are going to be expecting him to be a certain type of fighter and knuckle down in the gym and done all the work that he could do in the gym to make sure he surprises people with what he can produce. Because if you looked at Moorcroft and the times I watched him, you wouldn't know that he was formerly a white collar fighter.
And even early on in his career, he's improved massively, and every time we see him, he's got little things that he's added to his game.
Yeah, and as I say, you wouldn't know if you'd not seen him before. When I first started coming back to shows again after a brief sabbatical, one of the first fighters I saw was Moorcroft, and I had no idea he'd been a white collar fighter previously and would never have guessed until Luke spoiled it all by telling me.
But yeah, you see the fundamentals with him, you see the jab. He's in there with someone now who we see who took a bit of a shellacking in the first round and has come back at him a little bit as well. And there's a great right hand.
Yeah, there's that right hand over the top again. He seems to have hurt Henry a little bit again. He keeps landing with that right hand over the top, and you can see it's hurting every time he throws it. 40 seconds left to go this second round. Still plenty of time left in this contest, and that's the second time Henry seems to have been hurt by that right hand from Moorcroft.
Yeah, and as you say, if he starts doing that early on in the round, Moorcroft, he might get the stoppage, because Henry is shaken whenever he takes that right hand clean and gives up a lot of ground and moves backwards.
A lovely jab again. Moorcroft snapping that jab out with his left hand. No, he switched to southpaw a couple of times. I don't think he needs to, does he? He's had all the success in that orthodox stance so far.
Yeah, the right hand's working, as you say, in the orthodox stance. It might be, sometimes you can be too over-elaborate. The right hand and the jab is working for him, so stick with that and just put the left hook on top of it. And also, earlier on, sometimes fighters can read that, but he's in a situation where his opponent's a sucker for the right hand, and when he comes with the follow-up, the left hook can be there for him as well.
Another very good round, that from Moorcroft. He certainly looked nice and sharp in there, and we mentioned before, there's a few fighters in the VIP stable buzzing around this weight, and I know Steve wants to match a few of them together, and James is certainly up there with the ones that are going to go on it and fight for titles minimum, if not win them.
It looks that way, yeah, and as we say, he's learning with every fight. He seems to be developing and thinking about what he does as well, so each time you watch Moorcroft, you may see him try something new or something a little bit different. It may not always work going forward, but the fact he's still trying those things, it bodes well for him when he steps up in class.
10 seconds, corners.
Yeah, Steve Torkington's picked up on the fact that Moorcroft hasn't gone headhunting after he's hurt Henry to the head, and that's a big thing, isn't it? He stayed nice and composed. A couple of times wobbled him.
Yeah, and I think that's why he's not rushed his work. He's got the wherewithal to get his opponent, sting his opponent, but then take that little step back and have a look and think, right, which areas can I target now, rather than just throwing everything that he possibly can. And I genuinely think if he lands a really big right hand early in one of the upcoming rounds, and I think he could actually close the show and get the follow-on shots he needs to score the stoppage win.
Yeah, he's still looking to set that right hand up over the top.
And I think Steve Gray's the type of referee, if he sees an opponent is hurt, he'll have a quick look, he'll give them a chance to try and throw something back, and if they don't, he'll do the right thing and step in.
It's been dominant, this from Moorcroft so far. Blood coming from the nose of Henry now. That's that jab that keeps going through the guard from Moorcroft. He's flicking out with that right hand again. It's always dangerous when Moorcroft's own it. He dropped Nathan Hardy with one when we saw that fight, and Hardy very rarely gets stopped or dropped. You know, he's one of the tough men on the circuit, so that was a bit of a statement in itself.
Yeah, and we can see tonight with our naked eye the power he's there on his shots. Again, there the left hook was a really nice shot.
Yeah, he's wobbled Henry again with that left hook, and he's looking to follow it up this time.
And I think Steve Gray might jump in at some point if these shots keep going in. So that was a really heavy left hook, then he landed a solid right hand, and he's still got 90 seconds in the round to try and force a stoppage.
I was going to say, there's plenty of time still in this round. Lovely left hook from Moorcroft. He just took a right hand of his own on the way in, though. He doesn't want to neglect his defence.
Yeah, and again, he's remained calm. He landed those big shots, but he's not thrown everything into it.
Yeah, he's so switched on defensively, isn't he? Even when he's trying to go for that finish then, as he was.
On the left hook case, there's a gap there between Henry's chin and his right hand sometimes. Sometimes he drops that little bit right hand, or he moves it to try and parry or block the shots coming his way. So I think if he could turn one of his jabs into a left hook, I think he really would land some really decent clean shots.
And you can see he's still just trying to set up that right hand over the top.
Yeah, that one was a bit more rushed and a bit messy, and he took a jab to his face after failing to land it as cleanly as he did, so that's a lesson for him.
Oh, there's the right hand over the top again from Moorcroft. It hurt Henry.
And again, he goes with the body shots to the left and right side of the body.
It's been a really accomplished performance this so far from Moorcroft. Considering he didn't know much about his opponent when he get in there, he's dominated so far.
Yeah, and as we say, Moorcroft's been dominant again in this round. He's picked his spots well, and the right hand has worked for him, but also the left hook as well, and the body shots, and again another big right hand goes in and one to the body as well, so it's a really good performance this round.
Yeah, coming towards the end of this round, there's been some big shots thrown from Moorcroft again in that round. Halfway through this contest, still plenty of time to come.
Yeah, there's still 3 rounds to go. It's lucky for the opponent that it is only a 6-round fight, 'cause he's taking some fairly decent shots. I don't think we'd be seeing Henry the 8th if it went to the 8th round of an 8-round fight, but 6 rounds he might be able to negotiate his way through it. But at this point I think it's looking tough for him.
Yeah, he's certainly getting ticking off in that corner as well from the work he's done so far.
Yeah, and that last round was really hard for him. He doesn't want to have too many rounds like that. So it'd be interesting to see if Moorcroft smells blood in the water now he comes out the next round.
Yeah, and what would you be telling Moorcroft? You're in that corner, you're in Lee Blundell's shoes now. You're telling him to go for that finish, or just to keep looking for the shots like he has done so far?
Yeah, I like to see knockouts. I know some people on Twitter say it's all about safety and whatnot, but ultimately boxing's about knocking people out, and that's what people like to see. I'd be telling him to use the jab, throw a solid right hand off the jab, not rush his jab, but then when he's thrown the right hand and pulled it back, if the gap is there for the left hook, go with the left hook to the head and try and get a few to the body as well, and just break him down and put him on his back. But obviously without taking too many risks yourself.
Yeah, I think that's been the most impressive thing so far. Moorcroft hasn't taken risks when he's landed those big shots.
No, he's taken a couple of shots, but it's just been you take shots in a fight, especially when your opponent, someone like Henry, who's came in the first round and tried to throw a few shots back. But I think again, if I was Moorcroft, I'd try and put a bit more pace into the early part of the rounds. I know fighters like to pace themselves and work the round through, but I think if he came out firing at the start of one of the rounds, he'd have more of a chance of wearing him down over the course of those 3 minutes and stopping him.
Yeah, Moorcroft can't seem to miss with that jab, stabbing through the middle of Henry's guard. You see the blood from the nose getting worse as the bout goes on.
And we saw the defence there from Moorcroft, the slipping and the moving out of the way of the jab coming back at him. Solid left hook there, that one strayed a bit low into the hips, but it was a decently executed shot.
Nice right hand from Henry there, showing a bit of ambition, and Moorcroft come back with shots of his own. Oh, did a nice left hook to the body in that exchange as well. They fought a very high tempo this fight as well so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's particularly that last round as well. Moorcroft not throwing quite as much this round, but he's really thinking about what he's doing and just wearing his opponent down more and more incrementally.
Just over a minute to go in this 4th round. Scheduled for 6, of course. The second 6 rounder of 3 tonight. Still to come, of course, Jack Flatley's in with Sir Bowmo.
And they're nice boxing out of the corner by Moorcroft. Left up to the head, right hand to the head as well.
Yeah, now that right hand hurt him over the top, and
Steve
he's wobbled
Gray,
here.
I think he's going to jump in at any point.
He's down. What a shot that was from Moorcroft. He set it up with the right hand over the top. And Steve Gray's having a real look at this, because Henry's been hurt a few times here. It was the right hand over the top that did the damage, wasn't it, Terry? And he finished that combination really well.
Yeah, the right hand went over the top, then the body shot went in, and he's got a full minute, well, just under a minute left in the round, and I can't see Steve Gray allowing this to continue in this vein.
Yeah, uppercut from Moorcroft landing again, and the body shot as well afterwards. And if he can put 3 or 4 punches together, we'll see the referee jump in.
Yeah, and Henry's visibly pained with the punches that are coming his way, and he's kind of twisting his body to get out of the way of the body shots. And to be fair, to his internal credit, he's trying to give it a go as well a couple of times, even after taking that knockdown.
Yeah, but he's done quite well there since he's got up off the floor. A lovely right hand over the top again from Moorcroft, and again, and it's all over, and that's a good stoppage from the referee. And what a performance that is from James Moorcroft. He said he wanted to step up, and he certainly got that tonight, and he's delivered with that performance.
Yeah, brilliant decision by the referee, Steve Gray. 2 right hands to the head, and then he had enough space to land the 3rd one as well, and then he could have brought in some left hooks and body shots, so that was the right thing to do, just to get Henry out of there and not subject him to further punishment. So now we just wait for the time of the stoppage, but it was a really good idea, a really good thing from Steve Gray to do the stoppage, I think, at that particular point.
Right? And you're going to be 30 back. Right? So if you give 20, that's what he owes you.
So Simon Henry, the medical team are looking at Henry in the corner, giving him the attention he needs after that stoppage, and just making sure he's going to be okay.
Yeah, and the medical staff we have here on the VIP shows are top quality, and I'll make sure he's looked after.
And like we said, he took some effie shots to the head towards the end of that round. And Steve Gray, he had a look. He's one of those referees who, when you know Steve Gray's offering close by and having a quick look, you know his son was. He's thinking about the time that he's got to step in and make that tough decision.
You could see the delight on Moorcroft's face when that fight was stopped, though, and you know, Lee Blundell jumped onto the ring canvas to celebrate with his fighter. Brilliant performance, that.
Yeah, and as you say, he's developing all the time. This has been the best performance of the night we've seen so far, and it's a really good way for Moorcroft to make a statement and show people that last year's form was no fluke. He's here to stay.
Yeah, and we talked about it throughout the fight, but his composure was the most impressive thing there as well, wasn't it? You know, he picked his shots nicely, didn't rush his work, and when the stoppage came, he certainly delivered.
Yeah, he took the stoppage really well. He saw the opening for the right hand and just kept powering it through. And like I say, it was just going to be enough of right hand coming through, and there was always going to be scope there for the left hook as well. So Steve Gray did the right thing. The medical staff are still having a look at Henry to make sure he's okay, and Michael Pass will give us the particulars of the stoppage.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2 minutes and 55 seconds of round number 4. Stars, Steve Gray has stopped the contest in minutes of the inside and Henry, which is known as the 2 minutes of speed, the 4 good. And to the winners of the division 10,
Well, there we have it then. You can see Moorcroft visibly happy with that performance. And one more bout to go tonight, and it's certainly, we've had a good night of boxing, but it could turn into a great night of boxing with this one. Sir John Bowmo always comes and has a go, and it could be a great fight this for Jack Flatley.
Yeah, it's one people are looking forward to in many ways more than the main event, the Cullen fight, so it'll be an interesting one. He'll have to go some way to beat Moorcroft's performance, because I thought that was a really controlled performance by Moorcroft against a guy who, on paper and when he first stepped onto the canvas, looked like he knew what he was doing, in there. So yeah, Moorcroft's been really impressive, and we'll be looking for the next fight to be equally as good.
Yeah, and the final fight of the evening is just moments away, and like we said, it's Jack Flatley and Sir John Bowmo. And you know, Flatley had a great fight, didn't he, with Troy Williamson at the arena, and it's a shame more people didn't see that. That one ended as a draw. Flatley had to get off the floor. One final time tonight. Show sponsored by Code Delta, specialists in live and post-production, and of course Pain Solutions.
I did an Henry the 8th joke on that last fight.
You see the MC Michael Pass in the ring at the moment. Sir John Bowman just walked behind us to start his ring walk, and this one promises to be an absolute cracker. And like I was saying, Jack had a great fight with Troy Williamson, and be looking to build on that performance against Bowmo. And talking about that Williamson fight, Terry, it's a shame more people didn't see that.
Yeah, I didn't see that fight. I was gutted because John Evans told me about it. He said it was a real barnstorming, and people have been talking about it ever since. It's just, like you say, it's a shame. It's a fight, it would be frustrating to be involved in a fight like that and not be able to go back and have a look at it.
Yeah, and I know both Jack and Troy were waiting for ages for that fight, and I remember being in the arena, there weren't too many people dotted about to see that one, and it really was a classic between the two of them. Jack he took some heavy shots in that first round to get off the floor, and showed a lot of character that night. Came out with the draw, and it's a shame he's had to go back to the drawing board a little bit with, you know, a 6-rounder here, but it's a tough fight for him against Sir John Bowmo.
Yeah, as you say, this one could turn out to be the fight of the night. That performance where Jack had to get off the floor, that shows a lot of character in him as well.
comes Jan Bowmo. And you can see what kind of fighter he is by the way he's built. He's a stocky fighter, a lot of power with both hands. And he's had some good wins over his career as well. It'd be a big statement for him if he can get the win over Jack tonight.
Yeah, he won his first 5 fights, beat Jerome Wilson twice as well, then went on a couple of 3 defeats in a row, then he came back for a win over Tomoko Mucha. Then he's had some defeats and a draw since then, but like you say, he's deceptively heavy-handed, and if he catches someone clean on the chin, it's going to be a tough punch for him to recover from.
Yeah, it certainly is, and Jack will have to beat his best to get the win tonight. We've seen some top talent throughout the night, and Jack's certainly someone that can get in the mix for titles very soon.
Yeah, and the fact he's got a draw on the record isn't the worst thing in the world that can happen. He learned a lot from that particular fight. Come back and fought twice since then and won on both occasions, so it'll be interesting to see how he performs tonight.
Here comes a young fighter from Bolton, the crystal Jack Flatley.
And here is Jack Flatley, and he's been crying out for another opportunity at titles on the big stage. He's certainly deserving of one as well. 14 fights into his career now.
Yeah, and he's young as well. He's only 24, so with patience, those opportunities will come his way. I think this year will be a particularly good year for him. Obviously, we'll see how he gets on tonight, but if he comes and puts in a good performance tonight, then it bodes well for what's going to happen over the course of the rest of the year.
Yeah, Alex Matvienko in his corner, of course. They've got a real strong bond, them two. Been together for a long time now, him and Jack.
And Bowmo was stopped in 2 by Denzel Bentley in November of last year. Had a draw earlier this month against Robert Asagba, so he might be coming out tonight, flatly thinking that he's going to replicate that stoppage result.
Yeah, nicknamed the Quiet Storm. He certainly is a quiet character, Jack. When he gets in the ring, you can tell he means business.
Yeah, and it's good nicknames to have. Denson Fussell was known as Achilles, but he told people he preferred to be known as the Quiet Storm, which was his favourite radio station, so this one's been appropriated a few years down the line.
Ladies and gentlemen from the University of Bolton City, this is our normal main event of the division appointed by the Central Area Council of the Division Boxing World Control, Harry Stein, Sheriff Street Championship, Mahasi and Rogers. Sponsored by Main Solutions, OTFire.com, live on KLTV, the Southampton Germany, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Boxing Explosion, and Holly Full Fights. 6 300 rounds of boxing in the super middleweight division. Introducing to you firstly, boxing out of the blue corner, the blue strong trip with lime green, and the leather print effect of the winning skill of 11 stone 8 pounds. He has a good record this year, 15 contests, 6 wins. 2 of those wins were by way of knockout, 8 beats, 1 draw. Presenting from Sheffield, Warriors, and Guskakaru, and Bolton. And closing in boxing out on the red already, black short with white and the cycle to effect. And the winning skill, 11 stone, 12 pounds. It is standing record this year, consists of 14 contests, 13 wins. 4 of those wins coming by way of knockout with just a single draw. He is from the elite boxing camp here in Bolton, presenting the Quiet Storm, Jack Flatley. Time people at the bell. It is your round of Burnley, star of each on the entrance letters of Christ. 6 3 rounds.
Here we are then, the main event of the evening, and it promises to be a cracker, this one. We've talked it up all night. We're certainly going to deliver this one. Two exciting styles.
Jack Flatley's 13-0-1, as we mentioned with the draw. He's had 4 KO wins, so His opponent's 6-8-1 with 1 KO wins, been stopped twice, so as you said, this could be enough of a fight where we see a stoppage. Flatley's going to come out, I think, first and have a look, though. He doesn't want to do anything too dramatic in the first round.
Yeah, he's doing the right thing, is he? Just getting behind that jab, seeing what his opponent's going to bring to the table. Nice compact style, Flatley. You know, there's not much of a target for his opponent to hit. Already, and Bowmo's gone on the back foot.
Yeah, he come out Flatley with a look on his face like he wanted to come out and dominate, he wanted to come out and be assertive, and he started to do that already.
Yeah, he certainly started well behind that jab. Just forcing Bowmo backwards. First right hand over the top that's landed.
And as we saw in the previous fight, that right hand off the top is a dangerous weapon if you catch someone clean with it.
Yeah, and James Moorcroft certainly showed how to throw it. He set up his shots nicely in that bout. And Flatley's been impressive so far in his career. Well, aside from that fight with Williamson. It's good to see that he's built on that draw, though. He hasn't, you know, he's gone back to the drawing board, boxing on these shows, but you can see he's learned from that draw he had with Williamson.
Yeah, you could see that immediately afterwards in the 2 fights he's had since the draw. He's not dwelt in it or sulked in it or anything the way some fighters would. Sometimes you draw fights, sometimes you even lose fights. It's about how you come back in the next fights and how you perform after that.
Yeah, he's certainly settled into this bout nicely. Minutes ago with this opening round.
Yeah, and he's been quite flat-footed. Flatley, he's not been a lord of the dance type in this first round. He's just come out, established himself, and he's looking solid.
Looking strong on the inside as well.
And Bombo's got 50 on the back of his trunks there. Obviously a big fan of the young ones. That's when many people growing up in the 1980s. But like we said with Jack, he's only 24. He's got a lot of mileage in terms of his career in front of him, so he's gone to learn a lot. He learned a lot from the draw. 2 fights he's had since then, and he's going to be learning a bit more tonight as well.
It's not really ignited this one in the opening round like we thought it would.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be a bit more dramatic, but I think that's because Flatley has come out and really asserted himself, but without being too damaging in the process.
Yeah, been a really solid opener this one so far. Good round in the bank for Jack Flatley. Hashtag VIP Boxing Live on Twitter. Let us know your thoughts on the night so far. You know, who have you been impressed by? I know we've been impressed by James Moorcroft, but all the guys have done a good job that have been in there tonight. You see some real prospects.
Yeah, I thought Brad Rhea was impressive tonight, and as well as Moorcroft, as we've just said.
Yeah, and all these guys are certainly looking like prospects you should look out for in the coming months and years. Steve Torkington saying that the jab's going to be important for Jack here, and yeah, it's the key in a fight like this, isn't it? You control everything behind that jab. Yeah,
it's a key in most fights. You ditch the jab, you kind of start not being able to set up your own shots, really. It's the key punch for the reason. It's a bread and butter punch for the reason, and that's because it does set up attacks. So Flatley coming out a bit faster in this round. He's stabbed a few jabs onto the body and to the head and gone for the right hand as well. So he's coming out far more assertive than we saw in that first round.
Yeah, I think he's settled into this one now, isn't he? And like you said, he's just trying to assert himself, throwing a few more right hands. One thing about Flatley, he's good with those feints, isn't he? You know, he draws stuff, leads from his opponents that he can use.
Yeah, and like we said earlier in the fight, sometimes if you're struggling to land shots, so it's an unusual style to read, throwing a few feints, seeing how the opponent reacts to those feints gives you an idea of what's going to work and what's not going to work. I remember Lennox Lewis had a very unusual feint where he kind of spread both his arms out and ducked forward a little bit, and if you reacted to one of Lennox Lewis's feints, then you would literally feint because he'd absolutely blast you out with a right hand.
Bowmo's showing a bit more ambition in this second round, isn't he? He's thrown quite a few shots early on here.
Yeah, he looks like he's warmed into it himself. And like you say, when you mentioned before, his build, he looks so solid as well that you wouldn't want to get a punch on the chin from him. But I think Flatley's handled that well. Also, he's taken a bit of the sting out of them, some of the shots with a bit of movement as well.
A nice jab to the body from Bowmo. You see behind Jack there, Kyle Lamotti's new gym mate, moved over to the gym with Alex Matvienko. And we'll see him out on the VIP shows very soon. Last time out on the Jolly Boy show, of course, looked impressive there. Looking to build on that. We're going 2019.
And Dan Bowmo started just stalking a little bit here now, so he's not throwing too many punches, but he's stalking there. He lands flicks in a couple of jabs and goes to try and land the right hand. So he's certainly trying to work his way into this contest and landed a good right hand as we spoke.
Yeah, and a couple of people pointing out the importance of Jack's jab in this one, and it's been emphasised here, hasn't it? When he's got behind that jab, and Bowmo hasn't been able to get close to him. Right hand over the top from Bowmo there.
Yeah, it's a key punch. It gives your opponent something to think about and creates range. And if you stop jabbing, you've then got to throw your power shots. And if you start throwing your power shots without a jab to set them up, you'll leave a lot of openings. So that's when your opponent starts working on their power shots and it becomes a two-way brawl. And that's not the style that would be suited to someone like Flatley.
Just missing with that left hook to the head from Flatley. He just dipped a little bit in this round, hasn't he? The first round was a lot better.
Yeah, I thought Flatley was better in the first round. As you say, his opponent started throwing a few more punches as this round started, but there's just been a little bit of a dip in pace. Flatley wants to get into the corner, maybe get a rocket in the corner and come out a bit more assertive in the third round.
This one scheduled for 6, of course. There's still plenty of time to go. It's like we said earlier, though, isn't it? It doesn't really matter if you have a dip in one of the rounds in a 6th round if you've got plenty of time. Different to a 4.
Yeah, so that second round, he won the round Flatley, but it wasn't the best round I've seen him produce in his career thus far. So we'll go back to the corner and come out, so we'll see what he has to offer in the next round.
Yeah, and I think we'll see him trying to establish that jab again in the third. Yeah, he neglected it a little bit there, didn't he?
Yeah, in the times he was throwing the jab, it was kind of a pouring, tame jab. If you're not going to throw a stiff jab and you're not going to throw a jab that's maybe a feinting jab and you're just going to stick it out and pour with it, then sometimes just don't jab at all because your opponent can throw a big right hand over the top of it. And that's what he'll have to look out for in the coming rounds.
Lee Hurley's just said, Brandon James stole the show, agreeing what you said. And I think that's been a pretty fair assessment of the night so far. 2 standout performances, certainly, Brad Ray and James Moorcroft.
Yeah, as we say, they were the 2 ones that stood out for me when I'll be thinking back over the show later on tonight. With a nice green tea and my feet up on the puff.
There's that jab again from Flatley we were calling for.
Yeah, and we were talking about the jab before. Sometimes you can throw a pouring jab and it can be countered. But you can also, with the jab as well, it doesn't have to be really stiff every time. You can vary the speed and the power that you put onto your jab. Muhammad Ali talked about in his autobiography that he used to throw different types of jabs so the opponent wouldn't quite know which one was coming and when, and it just helped him set up his right hand more effectively as well. So you want to throw different types of jabs, but you don't want to be throwing those ones where you sometimes see where people throw a jab and then kind of leave it out there like they forgot to bring it back to the original position.
Just know that was the great Muhammad Ali. Not that Muhammad Ali's not great.
Yeah, our Ali's not wrote his autobiography yet, but I'm sure it'll be a roller coaster ride. I'm sitting amongst the debris of his energy bar and his crumbs that he had before when he was doing the interview. It's like being back at home again when my daughter brings toast to bed. It's always good fun.
Both men are just starting to open up in this third round.
Yeah, as you say, Flatley's back on the jab, but it's not looking as authoritative as it has done in previous fights. And Bowmo's looking like a bit of a stalking horse at the moment, like he thinks that there might be something doing for him in the next couple of rounds, but he's just going to work his way into it.
There's a little cut under the left eye of Jack Flatley as well. I think that was caused from a head clash earlier on in the round. Something for the corner to work on anyway at the end of this third session.
Yeah, and it's something for his opponent to try and work on as well, even if it was caused by a clash of heads and it's not going to affect the contest outright. It's still going to be a minefield for Flatley to deal with.
That was a nice straight right hand from Flatley.
Yeah, and Bowmo landed a couple of punches as well over the past minute, so it's not the most scintillating shootout we've seen, but it's been when they do both connect with punches, it looks like it could develop into something.
Yeah, and there's no doubt that cut was caused by a head clash as well. The heads are coming close every time they go on the inside, both men.
Yeah, and as I said before, now Flatley's not throwing his jab now, so what can he do apart from just stand there and trade power shots, because he's not throwing the punch that brought him so much success both in this fight and previous ones. And if he stands there in front of an opponent like this, just throwing power shots, then he runs the risk of ending up on his back or taking a count himself.
Yeah, interesting to note the referee's happy with it to let them trade on the inside as well. You know, sometimes you see referees quick to separate fighters, but he's happy for both men to get on the inside.
Yeah, it's been clean on the inside. I think the referee steps in when they start mauling and can't work it out properly. You know, famously, I'm fair but I'm infirm. Joe Cortez, when Ricky Hatton fought Floyd Mayweather, just set out to kind of break Ricky Hatton's momentum and rhythm from the very first bell, even though Ricky wasn't really breaking any rules. Some referees would have allowed more inside action in that fight, and it just depends sometimes on the referee and the fighters. Famously, Richard Steele allowed Marvin Hagler to work away on the inside against Thomas Jones and produced an absolute thriller.
Alex Matvienko seemed pretty happy in that Flatley corner.
Yeah, he will be. I think he's taken the first 3 rounds, but in that last round he didn't have to stand in close for so long, but he must think that's working for him.
Still plenty of time to go in this bout. Just halfway through this one. The final contest of the evening. It's been a great night of boxing so far, great night of prospects.
Yeah, sometimes you lose a few fights on the show. It's just one of those things. We were saying early on at the start of the show, I've been coming to non-off-TV shows since 2005, and sometimes you turn up to a show and the running order and everything's completely different than what it was on paper a few days prior to that. It's just one of those things on this type of show. So you just come, you just find out what's been changed, who's fighting who, and then just go with the flow. And Flatley's back on the jab now at the start of this round, which I think is going to bode well for him. What he wants to try and avoid is ditching the jab, getting clipped with the shot, and then pride kicking in and wanting to throw more.
Nice little uppercut from Bowmo landed there. He's just showing signs that he's still a live dog in this fight, isn't he?
Yeah, and because of his building, he's quite a bulky guy, he's going to generate a certain amount of power on his shots, and you don't want to be standing there letting him tee off with some of them like he just tried with a right hand.
Yeah, there's that jab we were talking about from Flatley again. He looks comfortable at this range, doesn't he?
Yeah. Like we say, when he jabs, when he's at range, Flatley, he could do this all night long against this type of an opponent. What he wants to avoid is, as we saw before, kind of going chest to chest and just trading blows, because that's not really his game at this point.
Whiskers away with that right hand over the top, Flatley.
And as we say, ultimately boxing's always about working to your strengths, doing the things that work for you, using your attributes to the best of your ability, and we've seen Flatley starting to do that again in this round.
Yeah, he did well to get out that uppercut and then the wild hook that Bowmo threw there. A lot of venom in both those shots. You know, it only takes one of them, doesn't it? They look wild, but one of them connects.
Yeah, the flip side, the downside to that is those big, wild, swinging shots. When they do miss, you take out more energy out of you than the more flicking shots that you may miss. So if he misses a couple more of those shots, he might not have the inclination to try them over the next couple of rounds, and he might let Flatley tee off a little bit more, but at a safe distance and in a safer position than he was previously.
Just over a minute to go in this 4th round. I think Jack's dealt with what Bowmo's brought to the table pretty well so far in this one. Plenty of time still to go, of course.
Yeah, he's not grown frustrated. A couple of times he's ditched the jab and tried different things. Takes a big right hand there that he needs to watch out for that.
Yeah, and I think that'll wake him up a little bit as well. It was a big shot that caught Flatley there, and Bowmo with that right backhand.
And then he tries it again. He lands a good left hook as well, and Bowmo. So he's finishing this round much better than he started it.
Yeah, and it's become a bit ragged, this one now. And Bowmo's had a bit of success there.
Yeah,
he hasn't had before.
And I think Flatley tried to reinsert himself straight away by pushing his opponent along the ropes when he maybe could have just gone back to the jab again.
Been a good close to the round, this from Bowmo.
Yeah, he's looked dangerous a couple of times towards the end of the round here, both with the right hand and the left hook as well. So it'd be something for Flatley and his team to think about when he goes back to the corner.
Yeah, there's certainly things to think about for Flatley. He's not had it all his own way in that round. You know, it's so difficult to keep someone off with the power and size of Bowmo, isn't it, behind that jab?
Yeah, and I thought he deserved to win that round. Flatley landed some good jabs, but I think those power shots for Bowmo were the best shots of the round, and the ones that you think about when you're thinking back on the round itself. I'm sure Alex Matvienko will disagree with me, as he did on many occasions back when he was fighting and I used to attend his fights, but I just thought Bowmo showed some menace and some glimpses of what he can do in that previous round.
2 more rounds to go of this one. Keep commenting on the Facebook page. Hashtag VIP Boxing Live on Twitter as well, of course.
10 seconds, corners.
Yeah, a few of the green on us. It has been a really good show here from the University of Bolton Stadium.
Seconds out, round 5.
And we've still got 2 rounds left to go. Flatley has had a few warning shots fired across his bows in the previous round, so it'll be interesting to see how he comes out and reacts to them in this one. And Bowmo's got absolutely nothing to lose, and he knows that he can land a couple of his shots as well, so he'll be thinking about trying to get some more in.
And there's the danger from Bowmo, that wild uppercut that slipped past the head of Flatley. And that's all it is a case of now, isn't it? Flatley's just got to be careful of what's coming back.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do anything silly, anything that's going to lead to him getting dropped. It'd be a disaster for him. He just wants to keep jabbing. He's got 6 minutes left to see through, so just keep on it, keep his wits about him, and just make sure he goes away with the win. And Bowmo in this particular start of this round has barely thrown a punch, so maybe his little efforts in the previous round took a bit out of him.
Yeah, these opponents tend to have a round or so where they get a bit of success, don't they? Flatley's done well to deal with that. A couple of good shots from Bowmo there, though. Flatley just fell in after that right hand and squared up a little bit.
Yeah, Flatley wasn't as successful with his punches there. Maybe he was a bit too close, and Bowmo managed to flood a few through, although he missed a couple himself as well. But Flatley doesn't want to be in the position where he's putting himself at risk against his particular opponent, as he just did.
A nice left hook again from Flatley. That's the shot he's landed nicely on the inside.
Yeah, he's landed a couple of nice shots, and Bowmo's coming back. But when they're in this type of range, it can be a bit dangerous for Bowmo.
Still a minute to go of this penultimate round of the evening. It's been an unremarkable but decent performance from Flatley so far. I think that's the best way to sum it up.
Yeah, I think unremarkable is a good word. This round pretty much encapsulate the whole contest. Flatley with that bit more quality, and Bowmo firing in a couple of meaty looking shots but not being able to capitalise on them and land a follow-ups, although he landed a very nice right uppercut on the inside again. And if he carries on in this vein for the rest of this round, it could be an argument made for him taking this one as well, because even though Flatley's work has been nice, his shots have been kind of peppery type of shots, whereas Bowmo's landed a couple of meaty ones.
Yeah, it was a good right uppercut that from Bowmo on the inside that landed. He's shown glimpses throughout the contest that he's started to get to Flatley a little bit.
Yeah, and he's tying Flatley up now and wasting a bit of time on the inside as well.
Right hand missing again. Flatley's been quite good defensively, actually. We've got to give him a bit of credit. He's got away with a lot of the shots that Bowmo's been throwing at him.
Yeah, he's managed to just slip a few of them at the last moment, and the ones he's taken, a couple of the ones he's taken, he's managed to take the steam off them as well.
Interesting one to score that, isn't it, Terry? How have you got this contest so far?
So far I've got it 4-1 to Flatley. I think that last round as well, you could possibly have made a case for this opponent, but I thought Flatley just did just about enough over the course of the round. And Bowmo, you can't expect to win the rounds on the referee's cards with a couple of shots here and there, even though the shots are quite eye-catching at times.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the referee has this at the end of this round. It's always interesting to see how the referee has it. Of course, there's only the referee scoring it. We don't have the 3 scoring judges. You just have 1 card to look at the end of this contest.
Yeah, and it becomes a case of interpretation, and the referee's obviously got the best view in the house of what's going on in there as well. So he may have looked at Bowmo's work that last round and thought, you know what, he landed some solid punches, so I'm going to give him the nod in that round. And if that was the case, say the referee did that, we'd be looking at 3 rounds to 2 with the last round to go for. So it'd be an interesting one, but I do think Flatley will win this one by a decent margin.
And Bowmo coming back with a bit of ambition of his own there behind that jab. It's been a quiet contest, this one. It's not ignited like we thought it would.
No, on paper, like we said, on paper it looked like the best fight of the night, but the best performance and fight that we've seen has been the Moorcroft fight.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's been a good performance this so far from Flatley. You know, he's certainly just getting the job done in there. Good ticking over fight for him as he waits for that title opportunity.
Yeah, and as we say, it just gives him a chance to get his account open for the year. He took a right hand there that made him take a few steps back. He just needs to watch out for that.
Yeah, you could hear the crowd groan with that right hand. It snapped Flatley's head back. It was a lovely shot from Bowmo.
And he may have muddled his sense a little bit. He looks a bit like he needs to take a breather.
Yeah, he's done well there, Flatley, just to tie Bowmo. I'm not sure if he was hurt by it, but he just bought himself a little bit of a breather there.
Yeah, I think the fact he's tied him up, he may not have been hurt, he may be more stunned and a bit tired as well, and it's not really the point in the fight when you want to be taking a shot like that from someone who looks like they can generate a bit of power. And now Bowmo's going for it a little bit more. He's throwing a couple more shots than we've seen him throw previously and trying to bunch a few of them together.
Yeah, but he's finishing strongly in this last round, Bowmo. You know, maybe he thinks he's got a bit of a chance in this one, like he suggested early on. The referee's seen that fifth round in Bowmo's favour. He's certainly finishing strong here.
Yeah, he's winning the round, Bowmo, so far. He's just steffier shots. Flatley looks like he's come out to try and see the last round through, and his opponent's got a totally different idea. And again, enough for good right hand there.
Yeah, he's still looking for that big shot, Bowmo. Just under a minute to go with the final round here. In fact, he's just got to get behind that jab again like he did early on.
Yeah, he needs to sharpen things up. Flatley, he doesn't want to be looking at this last round of the fight and seeing that he's quite ragged, and obviously for future opponents to be seeing it as well and giving them something to work on when they fight him.
Of course, Jack dropping down to like middleweight.
And again, Bowmo's been messy, it's been industrious, not always successful, but I think he's done enough to win this round on my card.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you on that one. Interesting to see how the referee scores this one. I mean, for me, I think Jack's done enough throughout the contest. And Bowmo finishing strong again. Nice right hand over the top, and there we have it. This will be a really interesting one that goes to the referee scorecard.
Yeah, I've got it 58-56 for Flatley. As I say, for that last round, Bowmo did well in that last round. I also thought he deserved to win the fourth round as well. He just looked very strong, very determined in those two particular rounds, and maybe if there was a couple more rounds in the fight, we may have seen him cause a few more problems with Flatley, although both men looked tired at the end of that one because there was a little bit of mauling in there as well.
Yeah, I agree with that one. I think if you're going to give Bowmo rounds, the fourth and the sixth were his best, without a shadow of a doubt. But Flatley's certainly done enough for me tonight. A decent performance again. Lee Hurley saying it could be a draw.
I'd be surprised. I think we're looking at maybe 59-56 or 59-57 from the referee. If maybe you might see a few draw rounds.
That concludes our evening of boxing here from the University of Bolton Stadium. Next week we're held at the new Leisure Centre, the 16th of March. Thank you for your attendance tonight. We're sorry for this slightly edited and short show. Don't do it, you can still punch up on the boxing machine. Here you get the highest score, take a photograph, send it to us on the VIP email, and we'll soon tickets to our show of your choice. Thank you for your attendance. Good night.
There we have it then. That finishes off the action for tonight. And Terry, just a quick round-up of the action. Performance of the night for you, surely, has got to be James Moorcroft.
Yeah, James Moorcroft definitely stood out tonight. And to be fair, James, every time I watch him, stands out more and more because, as we say, once you find out his background, it makes his performances all the more impressive. I always look forward to seeing him fight, 'cause I think he does slightly different things every time you see him fight and brings a lot to the table. I thought Flatley had to weather a couple of moments there that were a bit tricky for him. He just had to do the best he could and get through that fight. Muhammad Ali came out, looked good. That last round dip that he had again is a bit disconcerting going forward. And I think Brad Ray put in a really good performance. One of the performances of the night so far. And Jack Rafferty always looks a good, solid, technically proficient fighter.
Yeah, I think Jack Rafferty was good for me. Changing gym, a lot of changes for him in the build-up to this, and he got the job done. He looked really good doing it at times, and he wasn't in with an easy opponent in Richard Samuel. Someone I'd like to see him with a few more of the VIP prospects over the coming months and years. He certainly tested Rafferty with a really good performance from him.
Yeah, like you say, there's a couple of the opponents tonight came out and played their part as well. You wouldn't mind seeing them again. As you say, Bowmo always comes out, and he might not be the most aesthetically pleasing fighter to watch, but he can generate power on his punches, and as we saw, then he caused a few problems.
Yeah, you mentioned Muhammad Ali and Bradley Ray as well. Good performances from them, both moving to 4-0. Of course, it's been a busy month for VIP. We were in Liverpool last week, Bolton today, next week in Oldham. Mark Leach headlines the bill there. Mark Heffron returns as well. Mark sells plenty of tickets. There's loads of talent up and down the card. Jake James, Sean Ben Mulligan, Jack Kilgan, plenty of talent on that show. And then we continue on the 23rd of March at Doncaster Racecourse, and Reece Mould, he's in with Sean Davis for the English title. VIPboxing.tv free tickets. Make sure you get down to both those events, and if not, join us for the live stream. As always, we'll be live at both those events. Ringside is John Evans for a few words to end the show.
Well, we promised you an exciting night of fights despite all the pullouts. We got there in the end, Steve. Apologies if you're watching as well. We had a few problems with interviews, but we'll get that sorted for next week. What did you think, Steve? We'll start off with Muhammad Ali, third fight. Like we said before, the novelty of being a pro's worn off now, and he pretty solid victory tonight, we thought.
Yeah, I think he hurt him once. I think he was in the third round, and maybe he got the stoppage, which is against a durable opponent, would have been a good stoppage victory for him. But he won comfortably 40-36. And as you say, it's not about being a diabetic now. It's about fighting, and we're going to have to step him up, obviously. And maybe there'll be someone in the VIP camp that we can put him together next time, and keep progressing him.
Brad Ray, they call him 40-36 in the gym. He got a 40-35 tonight, boxed really well, didn't he? Probably Brad's best performance since he turned pro, do you think?
Considering that the opponent he had is horrible, to be honest. He's not the sort of person that anybody wants to fight. He's durable and always going to be there. I think that was the best I've ever seen a VIP fighter handle him. I thought Brad was very mature tonight, very disciplined, and he hurt him a few times, and better than that, he managed to keep him away from clinging on and holding on and spoiling. So, yeah, very good performance from Brad, and he's ready to go up to 6 rounds now.
Now, Jack Rafferty, first fight with Steve Maylett. Jack's aggressive, come-forward guy, built at the shed. He's gone to Steve Maylett. He's hoping to add a little bit more guile, I suppose, to his aggression. Started off really well, first 2 rounds. Stamina, maybe, or maybe not stamina, maybe adrenaline got to him for the middle rounds, and then he came back strongly, but it was an exciting fight to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he was probably a bit confused how tough his opponent was. I mean, his opponent took some really big punches and didn't look phased. I think Jack hurt him a few times to the body, and maybe should have switched down there a bit more. But, first fight with Steve, and he looked okay.
Yeah, and the fans enjoyed it as well. He's a big ticket seller, Jack, isn't he? I think maybe sometimes the crowd were egging him on. Just got a little bit close, but you're never going to change Jack Rafferty. He's always going to be aggressive and exciting.
No, I think that's why people will come and watch him, because he is an aggressive fighter, and people like watching aggressive fighters. And I know he probably wanted the stoppage, but that kid was tough, and it was a tough fight for him. You know what I mean? It was a great learning fight, and Jack's just got a few more to get on before he gets the titles, because he'll get there.
Now, James Moorcroft keeps on improving, doesn't he? Got a stoppage tonight. The right hand was working straight from the opening bell, really. Dropped his man, eventually finished him off, and James was delighted. He just gets better and better, doesn't he?
Yeah, you know, considering he wasn't an amateur and he only had white collar fights, he's progressed very, very fast. And tonight he hurt him a few times, and he recovered the kid pretty well. So he didn't look like he was going to get a stoppage. But to be honest, he hurt him through to the head, switched to the body, put him down, and then he just jumped on and didn't give him a chance to recover. It was a good stoppage by James, and I know he's been after one of them for a while, so I was pleased for him.
Now here's a man himself, Jack Flatley. Outpointing Serge and Bowmo there. Well done, Jack. Now, Serge is renowned for being a big puncher, lets his hand go, but he seemed to draw his sting pretty early on and just kept him under control there. How happy are you?
Yeah, fairly happy, yeah, but got drawn in a bit too much in that last round. But like I say, he's a dangerous puncher and he's beat some good opposition, like, and got a good amateur background and stuff like that. So it's another little step up, and then hopefully we move on now to some kind of title fight, yeah.
Well, on that, Steve, you know, there's been rumours flying around that there might be a title fight for Jack Flatley. What can you tell the people watching?
Well, I think on Wednesday it's going to be confirmed at the board meeting that Jack will be fighting for the English title here on May the 11th, the same night as Jack Cullen. So it'll be two Jacks fighting for two English titles, both from Bolton. So I'm expecting to pack the place here. You know, it's got to be confirmed on Wednesday, but it's like 95% sure that's going to happen. And it's against Craig Morris, who had that good 10-rounder with Scott Fitzgerald, who Jack beat in the amateurs, Scott, and you know, it ain't an easy fight for him. Tonight was a potential banana skin, and you know, he's come through it. I think, did he hurt you in that last round, Jack?
He caught me in the second round, actually, so he caught me in the second round and I was just getting through it, but the last round was alright. I was just getting drawn in a bit too much, but yeah, he's a stiff puncher. It's a good test, like Steve says, yeah.
Well, what's it going to mean to you then, Jack? You know, English title's a major stepping stone along the way to where you're hoping to go, and to get the chance in your hometown as well. What's that going to mean to you?
Means everything to me. I meant to have a title fight last year and that fell through, so I've been in the gym constantly, like, itching for a good fight. I had a good fight last year, but then it weren't for a title. But now I've got a really meaningful fight, so all this effort is going to pay off now. That's my step now to keep going now.
Good. Well, we promise you. Well, we said sometimes these bills which get truncated sometimes provide the best action, and I think we've got some good action tonight, Steve. On to Oldham next week, then Doncaster the week after, and the VIPs shows are running for the year now, aren't they?
Yeah, it's been busy already, and we've got a couple more to go through. But like you say, things went wrong tonight, but we've battled on, and I think we've given a good show. I think all the fights were okay, and you know, there's some good kids on it. Oldham next week, and I've just been told young Eubank's going to fight on it because he didn't get on when his brother Chris fought DeGale. So Seth Eubank's coming up to Oldham next week, and you'll be able to watch him live on VIP TV.
Good. Well, that's it from us, VIP ringside. Jack and Steve, back to Luke and Terry.